Dana should start promoting fights again. Dana White's bald head on a selfie screen of a camera. Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. Dana White is just like, give me my phone, kid. I'll announce it. You know what? I don't even mind an Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira in the meantime. But with Ilia's build and his strengths, which is his power, I think if he loses that at lightweight, he's maybe just a guy.
Change the whole dynamic of the fight.
It's round 2, round 3. He's not as powerful anymore. We could do impressions. What impressions do you want to hear?
Give me John Jones.
I can't do it, black guy.
Why not?
Gee, man, come on, man. I can't do Jones. I ain't got the nuance of a John Jones. This is why I should do them and you should guess.
Oh, it's 15-time world champion Demetrious Johnson. You're listening to the MIGHTYCAST.
What's going on, guys? We are live in the UK. I got my man MMA Guru here. We're about to chop it up on MIGHTYCAST. But before that, I gotta let you guys know this episode of the MIGHTYCAST is sponsored by PrizePicks. Now, PrizePicks is a daily fantasy sports game we can play directly from your phone. It's very simple. Go to your app store, download PrizePicks. And when you do that, make sure you use my promo code MIGHTYCAST. Cool promotion going on right now. All you gotta do is play $5 in your lineup, whether it be mixed martial arts, CSGO, Valorant, NBA, NHL, you name it, they got it. You're gonna win $50. MMA Guru, you got a code too, right?
I do if you use code Guru, which is my sign up that you definitely should use over code Demetrious or code Mighty or whatever.
We had somebody on here say the same thing.
Yes.
And that was Tim Welch.
Well, use my promo, yeah? Use my promo on the thing. I get me paid, yeah? Because I needed more than this champion. I shouldn't have swore. But yeah, use code Guru, PrizePicks. You can say whether or not you think someone lands more or less on a certain amount of takedowns. You can think that someone's going to land a certain amount of strikes, more or less. They should add a category if John Jones is going to land a certain amount of eye pokes in his fight, or if Bilal Muhammad will ever get a finish.
So make sure you guys sign up at your app store, PrizePicks, code MIGHTYCAST and code Guru. Shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring episode of MIGHTYCAST. Now, hope you guys enjoy this talk between me and MMA Guru.
Do it
Cheers.
responsibly.
Yeah.
Do it very responsibly.
Yeah. No. Come on in, Guru. Come on in. Yeah, you come in here. Welcome.
What's up?
You gotta bring that camera to you. You gotta bring that thing to your face. There you go. There you go.
This is a terrible start to the pod, but it's
That's
all
okay.
good.
That's okay. That's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, look who I've drug out of the fucking basement. Once again, Mighty and Guru are back. Guru, welcome to another episode on the MIGHTYCAST. How you doing, brother?
Doing good in person.
Yep.
So this is the start then. We're just starting the podcast like this.
That's how I always started.
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing good. It's great. Things are great, man.
Good, man. We're in your beautiful country, London, England. Thanks for making a trip up. You are a very, very busy man. Like, the amount of work you do on your channel is outrageous. Because people might know this, or they might. You do all your own editing. You do all your own shooting. You do everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Everything, one-man team.
Yeah.
Stream. I try to stream every day. Try to post every day. I haven't been recently.
Yeah.
But if the UFC is good, I'm good at being there every day, doing it all the time.
Yeah.
So that's what I try and do.
Now, why do you try to keep that same workflow every single day? Because, obviously I know you're a fan, right? I mean, I watched Corey Sandhagen's fight against Figgy. I watched the Bo Nickel versus RDR. But there's not a lot of hype around that, right? Obviously, we see the numbers.
Yep.
Right? And we're like, okay, we're going to spend a time doing a whole shebang around this event. And then this next Saturday, we're not going to do anything. We're going to take this off. We're just going to chill. But you cover every single fucking event.
I keep going.
You keep on going. And I'm like, don't you ever want to I think I'm going to just take this one off. I think I'm going to, get out of my mom's basement and go do something.
I'm in my own house. Thank you, DJ. I'm not in my mum's basement anymore. I once was not that long ago. I was in a shed. I was in my parents' shed in their garden streaming all the events. But now things are going somewhat okay. So I'm in my own place now.
That YouTube money hitting good now, huh?
It's hitting okay. Yeah. I get demonetized quite a bit, but the donations come through. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys for donating so much money.
So you got your own place now?
Yeah. I got my own place. I moved out a year and a half ago when I was at 24.
Okay.
Late 24. It was kind of late to leave, but in London, I think it's kind of average to move out around that time. But
Well, shit, not from what I heard. I heard you used to get your house when you were 30 years old, 32 years old.
Yeah, well, I'm renting, so I don't own a house.
Well, technically, I'm still renting because I don't own my house. You know, the bank still has the fucking deed, essentially, but, you know, you're in a house.
Yes, I moved out. And to answer the question about doing it all the time, I mean, I ain't got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I watch the UFC events. It's fun. It's not a job to me. It's fun to me. The thing is, I'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
So even if I wasn't on YouTube and making videos about it, I'd still be thinking in my head to myself, I wonder who's going to win this weekend.
Yeah.
I'd still be thinking about the topics that are coming up, the MMA news that's going round. I'd still be watching every event. Yeah. So why not cover them, you know?
Yeah, but that's the thing. You do everything.
Yeah.
I see as you being a comedian, right? Like, how can people view you? How should people view you as when you're putting this content there? Some people might view you as racial. Like, I watched one of your videos. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. There might be some people out there who get offended. But for me, I told you, I was like, he's a comedian. He's a very passionate person in mixed martial arts. We have a lot of those guys.
Yep.
But we don't have someone who comes to the space and brings a fresh breath of fresh air for myself, how I view it. And it's comedy.
Everyone's somehow connected.
Exactly.
Right? Everyone's a training partner of so-and-so, a guy who coached so-and-so, a guy who works at ESPN here, so it's kind of a new thing to have someone who isn't attached to any martial arts.
Yeah.
Just sort of come in and outdo you guys numbers-wise.
Come on now, let's hold
I don't know, the death sentence numbers are good.
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
Ain't nobody getting numbers on the Apex cards like I am. I'll tell you that much, dude. Not even the UFC. I feel like, honestly, sometimes more people are watching my stream than watching those fucking Apex cards with the shitty main events. Just being real. Awful Apex cards. But yes, I'm new to it. And you said, I get a bit jokey about things and racial. And I even said to you when I came in here, you started with that.
Yeah.
Immediately. Yeah. You're tall, and then you're racist was the next thing that you dropped on me. I just said, I kind of am, but it's funny. I find it funny.
Well, I didn't call you racist. I said some people might call you a racist.
Yeah, some people, suggest such a thing. It depends who it's aimed at, I guess. But I try and aim it at everyone. So
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm a equal opportunist racist, which might balance it out to be quite good. But it's all jokes. Like my chat will, they'll donate impression of this. Yeah. And I'm not gonna say no. Yeah. I'm not gonna be that. And I don't know, it's a white guy thing now. I don't want to touch that topic. I'm scared of that topic. If there's something to joke about, I'm going to joke about it.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. Me and my brother were literally sitting here like, they don't make movies like they used to back in the day. Like, if they were to make Scary Movie 1 or Scary Movie 2, exactly how they made it back in that time and launched it today, it would be fucking banned.
It would not exist.
It wouldn't even exist. Like Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder dressing up as a black guy. It was probably the best part of cinema in that time frame. Like I just saw they just released the undocumented files of him with his children in the bathtub, and he's drawn. He goes, "You haven't seen that yet?" Oh,
no.
He was like, "Oh, Dark Lord Anubis, right here, your mother."
Oh, is he still in character?
He's still in character, just a black guy.
I have seen that.
Yeah. I'm like, this is gold. There's people out there who would be like, oh, that's so offending. He's a white guy dressed like a black guy. I was like, dude, he's an actor. He's being a comedian. And, or you have, what's the show called? Eastbound and Down with Danny McBride. And he had the little short indie guy, Kenny Powers. And the short indie guy is dressed up as a Mexican guy. And I'm like, they want to do stuff like that nowadays, right? It's like, why not? That's fucking comedy. Like, you don't have to watch it.
It's true.
But so I love the spin you bring to the space, because it's a breath of fresh air, and you hold no ties to. You can rant on this, you can rant on this promotion. You can, like when we were talking about the GFL, I was like, well, that didn't last long.
Yeah,
now, did it?
Didn't last, and it didn't exist in the first place. Now I'm not going, as you said about Trophic. I'm not going blackface anytime soon.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, there's limits, but I'm giving it to. I'm going after Ian Garry as much as I'm going after John Jones. And, it's...
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all directions, and it's fueled by the chat, And also I would make those jokes anyway, so I'm not going to blame my chat.
Yeah.
But that's just jokes, man. I find that shit funny. It's like I grew up, everyone after the pandemic just acted like they didn't grow up on South Park.
Yep.
I grew up on South Park and Family Guy.
Yep. And that's the
my
whole
humor. I'm stuck. You know what I mean? This is me, dude. I don't care if this next generation comes along and wants to call me fucking reprehensible about it. I ain't done shit wrong.
Hey, I love the fact that you are sticking to your morals and that's what you got brought up. I let my kids watch South Park because, once again, I think that's a dying show, or how people communicate, or how people are so scared to say what they think or what they find funny. And I think, once again, I think it's a breath of fresh air. I grew up on that shit too. And another person, Andrew Schultz, was talking about that. Oh my God, I can't believe
It's the unprofessionalism of
Sorry,
this.
it was death sentence. It's my Padawan.
Okay. You have to, yeah.
So
Read the text.
He says, "Thank you, Mighty Mouse. That means a lot. Thanks for everything. I wouldn't have one if it wasn't for you. I hope we continue working together in the future. Master."
Okay.
I wanted to ask you, we're halfway through the year now. 6 months into the year. How do you feel about the landscape of mixed martial arts itself? You know, we can just stick on the UFC. We can talk about PFL, GFL, Ryzen. How do you feel as, you know, because I feel you and Michael are more passionate about the sport of mixed martial arts than I am, because I'm a former athlete.
Yeah.
I know the ups and downs of the career. I've been there. You shoot, you know, a 3-hour commercial for UFC 197, and the UFC's like, we're not gonna fucking use it. I'm like, well, we just wasted 3 hours of my life. Yep. How do you feel the state of mixed martial arts is right now as a business? Everything. Just let me have it.
I think it's shit at the moment. If I had to give a very nice statement about it, that's me being nice about it as well. I think it's shit. There's a lot of regional MMA promotions that are picking up. Octagon's doing well, KSW's doing well. There's a lot of promotions that are coming up that are doing good, but they don't get the attention. GFL gets the attention, and it's just not even existed. That just didn't exist. All of that AI for nothing. All of the fucking Power Rangers shit that they did, and they literally brought together like the Unk Avengers of the MMA world to promote GFL.
Yeah.
And then brought all the Unks and signed them to the promotion. I think they were going to do Frank Mir versus Rebellis de Spain at one point.
I don't even know who this guy is.
Someone who would have killed Frank Mir on television, basically. And they were going to be A-okay with that. So I don't know. I think MMA's bad. UFC is lacking at the moment. I try and make it fun, though.
Yeah.
That's what I try and do. That's kind of my job at this point. Make the sport fun for myself. Because the UFC has been very lackluster. The fucking pay-per-view this weekend's weak. It's UFC 315. I didn't mean to timestamp the interview here. But UFC 315 is pretty weak. It's kind of awful. In terms of the stackedness, we don't get the triple header championship fights. And if we do, it's a women's fight and a flyweight championship. No offense, DJ.
That's okay. It's okay.
But it's true.
Hey, Michael, when I was at the prime of my career, he even told me straight up that he would go watch the fight at Hooters, and when he saw I was the main event, he'll cash out early and get home to beat traffic. So no offense taken.
Wow, that's actually disgraceful behavior from Michael, to be fair. But the flyweight are good. They actually always have fun fights. There's just no storylines there.
Yep.
They should re-sign Makhachev. That's what they should do. Mohamed Makhachev, you know him?
Yeah, Mohamed Makhachev.
Re-sign him, and Dana should start fucking promoting fights again. Now I'm going to get angry on this microphone. Dana should start promoting fights again and acting as the president of the UFC. He's fucking promoting Canelo versus Crawford. So I'm slamming my finger into this fucking futon here that you've got, or this half a chaise long in front of me.
Yeah.
But Dana is promoting Canelo versus Crawford as the UFC president.
Yeah.
That's a fucking traitor. That's a traitor there to the UFC.
Yeah.
I honestly believe this. Fire Dana White and put me in the job, and I'll promote the UFC. I'd re-sign Makhachev, and I'd act like I want him dead. So this is who I'm matching up Makhachev with, because I want him gone.
Yeah.
I'm making an example, and I'd be a heel to Makhachev. Sometimes you got to hate the fighters.
Yeah. So you're almost taking a spin on it, like how Vince McMahon did.
No.
Well, I mean, but I mean, at the time, like,
because I do hate Makhachev and I want him lost.
You do.
So it wouldn't be acting. I'm not playing a character, but I know Dana White doesn't like Makhachev.
Yeah.
But don't like him while he chases his dreams in the UFC.
Yeah.
I don't like him, so therefore cut him from the fucking sport. Like, if he's a bad guy backstage, that sounds interesting to me. John Jones can fucking... Makhachev can't cause a bit of a ruckus backstage at a UFC event, but John Jones can get up to God knows what.
Yeah.
Outside the UFC. Yeah. And nothing will be done, and we'll bring him back in because he sells pay-per-views.
Yeah.
If you actually acknowledged Makhachev for the evil little man that he is, then he could be someone who brings pay-per-views.
He said evil little man because he's 6'8".
Well, not quite. But even still, Makhachev, I reckon the storyline is there at flyweight. How do we get into Makhachev?
Yeah.
Either way. But that's what I would do in the UFC right now. I'd get rid of Dana. I'd put me in charge, and I'd actually start promoting the events. Or I'd have Hunter Campbell step up, because let's say the UFC, and I said this in a video I made recently, let's say the UFC is a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
And boxing is an Indian restaurant across the street.
Yeah.
And the Indian restaurant's doing good.
Yeah.
The Indian restaurant's getting customers, and they've got great dishes coming out every week.
Yeah.
Okay? And the Chinese restaurant is shit. That's the UFC right now. Why is the fucking owner of the Chinese restaurant nipping out across the street to the Indian one?
Yeah.
And helping them promote their restaurant when it's failing? Like, get rid of him. If I was another owner of the Chinese restaurant, I'd be like, what are you doing? You ain't coming back in here.
Yeah.
You can stay out there in the street.
Yeah.
We need to get rid of Dana and have him on the streets. That's what I want to say. Get rid of Dana, have him on the streets, or have him at the Indian restaurant.
Yeah.
And or the boxing world.
Yeah.
And he can do that. If he wants to promote boxing and power slap,
Yeah.
fucking shoo. We don't need no part-timers in charge of our company.
Yeah.
Why am I acting like I'm already in the UFC?
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
company shouldn't have a part-timer at the fucking head of the fucking ship.
Yeah.
Steering it.
Well,
Get rid of him.
What's going on, guys? This episode on the MIGHTYCAST is sponsored by Hexclad. Now, Hexclad is a top premium brand of cookware. Now, guys, I use this every single day. So does my wife when we're cooking our eggs in oil, when we're cooking our chicken. Here she is cooking some ground beef. I just got home from the gym. She's trying to cook it up nice and fresh. And the one thing that we love about the Hexclad is that it is easy cleanup. It cooks the meat evenly. That way there's not one side of the meat that's overcooked and one side of it that's had undercooked. And look how easy it is to clean up. Non-stick, absolutely love it. And these things are a lifetime warranty. These will literally be the last pots and pans that you'll ever have to buy. Upgrade your cookware. Go to hexclad.com/mighty. 49% off on the whole site. Mother's Day is right on the corner, boys. So take care of your mom and your wife. You know, have the children buy the wife a gift. Amazing pots and pans. So go to hexclad.com/mighty. 49% off their complete site. Lock in before it's Mother's Day, boys. Get your wife and your mom some new pots and pans at hexclad.com/mighty. Now, shout out to Hexclad for sponsoring episode of MIGHTYCAST. Now, let us get back to our guest. It's fascinating because when that same energy, it's the same energy.
It's coming out of me now.
That's the same energy Michael brought to me. And I'm like, oh, who cares? Don't worry about it. He goes, I feel like this is the biggest betrayal and the spit in the face of all the UFC athletes. And for me, I'm like, fuck, man, like, as a former athlete, you guys look good. You're pretty fit. I'm glad those gym sessions are really working out.
I've been working out very hard for this moment, but go on about Michael.
Yeah. So when Michael said it to me, I was like, man, it's a very hard thing for me to internalize because obviously I was a professional athlete at one point in the UFC. And I don't know how, I feel if Dana White was to promote something else when I was in the prime of my career, I wouldn't think anything different because we're all, non-employees. We show up, we collect the check, we go home. That it is what it is. Dana White can do whatever he wants essentially. So when he started, promoting Crawford versus Canelo, I was like, oh yeah, he's going to promote that because he has, shown interest that TKO, he wants to have boxing under his umbrella. I remember he said at some point in time, TKO will have every single form of combat under its umbrella. And this could be the first stage of him proving that, hey, you know what? I've locked down mixed martial arts. Even though the hardcore fans like you, Michael, maybe, a handful of you guys are pissed off at the next card after card after card, you still have your mom and pops who will go to the Indian restaurant and the Chinese restaurant every single day. And I always tell Michael, it's not, in a gym, it's not the professional athletes who pay the bills. It's your everyday mom and pop who wants advanced kickboxing and your kids who want to just train. So that's how I view it. But you think it shouldn't be done. You think like, nope, you can't do it. Like, I
think this, if the fighters can't go from being in the UFC and fighting in the UFC to doing a boxing match, then you as the fucking owner, you bald fuck Dana White, can't go from running the UFC to running boxing on the side.
Yeah.
If they're fully committed to you, you owe full commitment to them as a fucking president of the UFC. You owe full attention to them if they're compelled to owe you their full rights as a human being. Like, I'm all in favor of the UFC having total control over the UFC fighters. I know it's bad, and I know an Ariel Helwani, who we may get into on this podcast. I know an Ariel Helwani or another person like a Luke Thomas might say, this is terrible, they shouldn't have full control. I'm all in favor of them having full control, but it better be so that they can take advantage of that full control and make the company good.
So, and when you say full control, what do you mean? Give me an explanation of meaning full control. When you say full control, I feel like in WWE, Mark doesn't own the rights to Undertaker.
No.
WWE owns the rights to Undertaker. So if he was like, I'm the Undertaker, he goes, technically you aren't, there's a fine line there. What do you mean by full?
Morally, they shouldn't have the ownership over the fighters that they do. This is my take on it. Morally, they shouldn't have that. The fighters should have more freedom. It's a free world. I understand that from a moral perspective. Like, I'm a good person. The fighters deserve this, that, and the other. Double the pay. All of this stuff. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to have that, it better at least be to give us great quality product. Don't coast with the fucking product while you have literal fucking slaves in your company. At least have it be good and have it, like, give it your full attention to make it a good product. Like, there has to be some counterpoint to us suppressing morality against the way that you actually run the UFC. If you're going to run the UFC like a ruthless dictator, have it be good. And have it be great. Let the payoff of the fans be, well, I'm not too comfortable with this work relationship that the fighters have with the company. But at least it's fucking great. But now it's a situation where I'm not comfortable with the work relationship between the fighters and the company. And you're going to show the product. Shit. And it's shit. And he's off somewhere elsewhere doing power slap and doing boxing. There's no payoff then. Now there's going to be a proper revolt against we march on the UFC PI in August once I get to America. No, we don't do that. I'm not going to start a riot. But still.
I don't think you'd be fighting UFC. I think you'd be fighting half the motherfuckers on the roster.
Yeah, I could be a heavyweight in the UFC, dude. Put me in there. I'll take out some fatties outside the rankings, I'll tell you that. There's a few of them clinging on. No, but still. Maybe I'll fight in the UFC. Maybe that'll be the move.
Hey, Death's trying to get there. Maybe you can too.
Put me, dude. Feed me Death Sentence, dude.
Hey, let me give you a training arc. You want me to do a training arc with MMA Guru?
We could do a training arc. Michael's raised his head in like, oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, right here.
Behind the camera, he's grinning behind the camera right now, rubbing his hands.
Yeah.
No, put Death Sentence against fucking Nina Drama or something.
Yeah, dude, you're. Okay, we're getting off topic. I want to say on this. I'm gonna ask you this question. I'm gonna answer what I think, and then you can give me your side of it. Why do you think everybody is after you and they're shunning you? I think the reason why is because you say what's on your mind, and they probably view you as, oh, you're just a guy who sits in the room and you don't do shit and blah, 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 blah. But for me, you are somebody, like I said before, prior to this meeting, is that you've been grinding in the trenches for a very, very long time. Could you go about a different way of saying certain things? 1000%. Anybody can, right? But you choose to go that way. You have built a loyal following. If you didn't have a loyal following, every video you post, you hit 6 figures every single fucking time.
If I don't, it's a bad video.
Yeah, if you don't, it's a bad video. But you rarely post bad videos. It might offend some people. It might not, depending on who you are. If it's your cup of tea. But that's the only reason why I feel like they're mad or they shun you. That could be my opinion. Why do you think they shun you?
Why do you think they hate me?
Why do you think they hate you?
Because it's right. They should. I think I'm very hateable. I don't think.
So
I'm a good
you
person.
want to be hated?
No.
Oh.
No, I don't care. I don't care to be liked.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. I think everybody cares to be liked too much these days, but I'm going to do me. And if people enjoy it, if my niche enjoys it, I'm not making content for everyone.
Yeah.
You know?
You make content because you enjoy it.
Yes. And if someone's like, you shouldn't be saying this, fuck you, dude. My fans like the content. I don't care if I shouldn't be saying this. They want it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to do that. And that's who I am.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people get an audience while they get given an audience. So they step into a place where the audience is already there and they have to shapeshift. And I built my audience.
Yep.
So I've never changed up. So I've shaped my audience from the ground up.
So here's an example for people out there who don't understand what he's saying. Like, if somebody comes, you built your audience. Yeah. Right? So since you built this massive audience, maybe these people didn't realize you were who you were
Yeah.
But this audience kept getting bigger, 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 bigger. Then all of a sudden, this audience like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
They come over here and they're like, why does this guy have a bigger following than me? Why is this guy blowing out, this guy has 15,000 concurrent viewers. I've been in the trenches longer than him. I've been doing it right. And it's like, you can keep on doing that, but this is how I fucking built it. So don't come over here and tell me I need to change my tune.
Yes.
You can mute me.
Yep.
Mute me, please. You don't have to. But don't be mad just because I'm killing it and I've never changed. I never changed coats. And I shouldn't have to change coats now that I built this audience.
You only get cancelled if you reveal yourself as something that they thought you weren't.
Yeah.
That people thought you weren't. So if you see someone, like if someone who's like a good example of this.
Shannon Sharp.
Shannon, well, he fucking fucked an OnlyFans 19-year-old.
But I know that. But I know that. But
yeah.
If he did that.
Yes.
But he hasn't stopped doing his content.
Yeah.
He's still plus Club Shay Shay. He did leave ESPN.
Yeah.
Right? But imagine if he was like, guys, yes, I did fuck her. Yeah, $25K for each cheek.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
50K.
Yeah, it's 50K, right? And he's continuing. His fans who are loyal are going to continue to support him and watch him.
Yeah.
But if he was given that audience, right? They're like, hey guys, we have Shannon Sharp here. You guys haven't seen him before. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Shannon Sharp, blah, 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 blah. He goes along the thing, and then next thing you know,
the shit comes out.
All the shit comes out, and they're like,
off on him.
Who the fuck were you?
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I mean better as an example of, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I mean as an example of, this is really good drink, by the way.
Shout out to First Form. First Form is make sure to keep an
pretty decent.
MMA Guru.
Yeah, doesn't have quite the high level of fizz that some other energy drinks does. I definitely won't be shitting myself later. Thanks to Screaming Freedom, First Form Energy. But in terms of cancellation and getting cancelled, bro, my fans would cancel me if I was gay. Like if I was secretly like gay, they'd probably cancel me then. Like it's a completely different thing.
Yeah,
no one understands that though. How are people watching this? How are people? Because that's what they fucking signed up for 7 years ago when I started the channel.
Yeah,
I don't think people realize how long I've been doing this.
Yeah. Seven.
I mean, just coming up to 7 years.
So explain to
2018.
people. Explain to people how your grind started when you like.
I thought this was what the whole pod was going to be about.
Well, kind of, but we're just shooting the fucking vibes, man.
Yeah. How I got started. I hated life. I don't think people realize how much I hated life when I started off. That's why I needed to do it, and that's why I actually sat through it for 4 years with no results.
Yep.
No one likes me. I don't get any like positive feedback. Even my fans shit on me all the time. So for other people, that'd be hard to get through. But that was a nice change for me. That's what people don't understand. Everyone has this great life. Not everyone. There are a lot of people with shit lives. So I take that completely back. But the alternative to failure to this, like the result of failure of not making it on YouTube for me, was fucking, I don't know if I would exist. You know, I made a deal with myself when I was younger, if we want to get deep into stuff.
Just get deep.
Like, I actually said, if I'm not a millionaire by 25, if I haven't sorted something out, I ain't living in a world where I'm not, you know? So it was like at the time, it was almost like wow, that felt good. Because my dread, and I think this is what people don't understand, you know, there's a streaming and 9 to 5 debate where streamers say it's more difficult than 9 to 5. It may be more, it's not at all.
It's fucking hard.
It may be more all at once.
Yep.
But what people don't understand about how difficult a 9 to 5 is, because I've been there. I was working shit jobs. I had no prospects. All of my friends went to university. I left school at fucking 16, 17. I had nothing. I was the class clown, making everyone laugh, and then there's no one for me to make laugh anymore.
Yeah.
And it's lonely, man. I remember being at home, checking my phone, and I'm checking Snapchat stories after I've just worked all day, and all my friends are at university partying, and I'm just like, fuck. I remember I had a moment where I just screamed into a mattress, like, fuck, dude, this is such a shit life. We're broke. I've got no money. Why couldn't I have been born rich? Why couldn't I have been born with some kind of help device for me? Why do I need to do this? Or I'm cooked.
Yeah.
Why do I need to make money? Or I'm fucking done and there's no prospect for me. So I ended up sort of like just starting it, and then people wonder why I was able to do it for the first few years. What was I just talking about? Oh yeah, the streaming being harder than 9 to 5.
Yeah.
It's because the 9 to 5, there's the ominous presence in the back of your mind of the idea that it will be forever.
Yep.
That is what people don't understand. When I see streamers, and they're like streamers that made it at 16 years old or 12.
Yep.
These days, you see like iShowSpeed, Adam Ross.
Yep.
And they're all saying, dude, streaming's way harder than 9 to 5. No, it fucking isn't. You don't know another life. When you're out of school.
Yep.
And your parents, when you try and tell them, like, why am I have to do this? This is shit. I was making under minimum wage because I was doing an apprenticeship. So I was making like $400 a month, just over $400 a month or something.
What's that equivalent to pounds?
$500, just under $500 a month.
Yep.
9 to 5, 40 hours a week. So full-time work,
crazy.
apprenticeship. So they could pay me less because I was getting some qualification.
Yeah.
But there's in the back of your mind, something that you don't get is the doom that this will be forever.
Yep.
Like, maybe when I'm fucking 28, I'll be able to get 30K a year.
Yeah.
Maybe when I'm in my fucking mid-30s, I'll make 40K a year. Maybe when I'm in my mid-50s, I could be getting 50K.
Yeah.
And it's the doom in the back of your mind. I don't understand why streamers don't. Well, they obviously have never worked a real job. But the idea, the reality once you leave school, and it's just like, oh, fuck. This is shit. I wanted to leave school this whole time, but now I wish I was back.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So I leave school and I'm doing a shitty job and I'm thinking, fuck, dude, I don't want to live like this. I won't. But that's the difficult part, the doom. So I had this doom in my head that if I didn't make it, I don't want to do this, you know? And then when I sort of made that, I'm not going to be here if it doesn't work, took pressure off me. And when I started building it in the background while I was doing my job, because when I started, I was doing it every day. I've got 4,000 and something videos in about 6-7 years. Yeah. That's over a video a day, early doors, and streaming all the time as well. So I do a 9 to 5, come back, and then do a video or two and stream, and then do the weekend. Never go out with any of my friends. So I needed it. Yep. That's what people don't understand about the grind. I needed it, man. The alternative was so bad that I didn't want it. The alternative was just not a fucking option for me when I was growing up. So that's the grind of it. That's how long I've been on the grind, and that's how you do the grind. Is like, you can't have a good alternative. You can't waltz off into something that's way better for you. You can't want it just because you want the fame or just because you want the money. It's like, dude, if this fails, I'm done. You know? And that's what sort of drove me to do the first 4 years. I remember my first stream. If you go back on my channel, one of my first streams, I say, someone timestamped it, I will be in the UFC industry. This is going to happen. 2018, I was saying this. And I don't know. I can't remember what your question was, but it was about the start of it all.
You keep going. This is awesome. I feel bad. I was like, man, we should have started like this, because now I understand where you have the I've understood your passion, but now I understand where you fucking come from. It was like, guys, grind. Like, there's no tunnel for you to know where you need to go.
There's no route for me. There's no route. And I look on social media and everyone's happy, man. No one's fucking happy in my life. This is back then. Now I'm a bit better about things because everything's going great. You know what I mean? And I'm helping people now, and I'm sort of establishing some family safety and that, you know what I mean, type of thing. But when I was younger, dude, I don't think, if you're on the social media world, it's such sunshines and rainbows. You don't get the dread. The absolute dread of like, this ain't gonna go well. Your kids will never understand this.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But you'll understand it.
Well, I don't. Well, I do a little bit, because you're younger than me. Right? So you're 26. When I was growing up, I didn't have a father. I had a mom who was deaf. It was me, my brother, and sister. We played video games. That was our form of entertainment. I found my outlet through sports. But when I got out of high school, I was like, so I guess I'm just going to go to college, because if I want to be successful, that's what I'm going to fucking do. Right? For you being 26, I don't know, was your dad, I don't know your childhood bringing it up, but you grew up in a time of not entertainment, but social media. Where it's like Instagram, right? You're like,
so I see the other life.
You see the other life where I see kids. My sister-in-law, she's your age. She's 24. She almost took her life multiple times. We're at the hospital. I was like, what's wrong? She goes, what's the fuck? What am I alive for? Like, what am I? It's a different. When we raise our kids now, we have to think about, like, we have to raise our kids in this generation.
We always talk about according to this generation.
When I was a kid, it was like, Mom, way back, I'll come back home when it's dark. Ain't gotta worry about fucking pedophiles. Ain't gotta worry about drugs. Ain't gotta worry about none of that. Now, I don't even let my fucking somewhere outside, because I'm like, so now, pick it up where you're left off, because I just want to paint the picture for people who don't understand, right? Because people who are gonna listen to this, it's gonna be your generation. People older than me. People are like, what do you mean? So it's a shit life. Well, coming
is.
from your viewpoint,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's why I can grind.
Yeah.
Everyone asks me, why do you do this? Why do you do this every weekend? Man, I have to.
Yeah.
There is no option otherwise. I refuse to exist otherwise.
Yeah.
So if people get onto me, why do you say that for the donation? Are you fucking dumb? The privilege it has. Sometimes that does annoy me. Why are you reading that $20 donation? Yeah. Early doors, they'll find something I read out, a joke, a fucking racy joke, this, and I'm like, dude, it's $20 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
If I keep doing this, I can I can save everyone.
Yeah.
The amount of pressure that's on you when you have the opportunity to do so. What am I going to be grandstanding and say, no, it's bad to do?
Yeah.
You know? But that's what made the grind, because it's just horrible, man. Life is very horrible for a lot of people. I don't know. I didn't have it as bad as you. My parents were there. Mm-hmm. But economy-wise, like in terms of my household economy, I thought when I was younger, making, and obviously the times have changed in terms of pay.
Yeah.
But I thought, damn, he's making $2K a month. He's doing well. Mm-hmm. That was my mindset on things.
Yeah.
$3K a month. But I had my parents there when I was growing up. But yeah, there was just no prospect for me. That's how the Beanie origin started. It wasn't that I just put the beanie on to be fun. I was wearing it before I even started the channel. I used to put it on because I was scared that someone would recognize me from school. You know? I didn't want them to see me because I used to, like, on a Saturday, I'd clean drains for cigarette butts and like de-weed this sort of like communal work area. And the person that was paid to do that would give me the money instead to do it because it was like beneath.
Yeah.
Like they didn't want to do that at their time.
Yeah.
So I would do it. And that was my Saturday thing. And I was working full time in the week as well. And I'd just do that on a Saturday. And I'd listen to some early fight companions, JRE fight companions and stuff. And I just ended up putting the beanie on. And everyone would ask me, why are you putting the beanie on? When you're handing out leaflets and flyers and stuff, bruv, if someone sees me doing that, when they all have their prospects, that was the biggest dread of mine. Don't let someone recognize me after school. Because I went alone. Yeah. After school and that, I mean, I don't talk to anyone. I don't have friends. Yeah. This is it. This is all I've got. So that's why I have the grind for it. But the beanie being on was like, don't recognize me. Don't see me. Don't see what I'm up to now, how I've ended up, you know?
Is it the same beanie you were wearing at the time?
Yeah.
Same beanie.
Same beanie. So the beanie has more origin than people think. It's not some silly hat. Yeah. It's like, let me disguise who I really am, because if I'm seen as who I really am, I'm a failure.
And that's why you go by the alias of MMA Guru.
Yes. It's why I do this. I'm the MMA Guru. Overexposed lighting on the camera. If I catch myself in the OBS recording, I'd see myself and go, what the fuck are you doing, you loser? I have that. That's the mindset that sort of prospective life.
That's why you're such a great character, though.
Yes, because I can remove myself from being me.
And it's not really you.
Yes.
And see, that's
but it is me.
But it is you.
It's who I wish I could be. Yeah. You know? It's the confidence I wish I could have. Yeah. Like by removing the reality of myself from it. Yeah. You know? So that's what a lot of people go through that. So I feel like I'm speaking for a lot of people here.
No, you are.
But they don't go around the beanie thing.
I went to the same thing. I was working 9 to 5 with my father-in-law. I was like, fuck, you do this every single day, Alan? He goes, every fucking day, Dad. Every single day. I come here, I make my money, I make my money, but he found his outlet through hunting, fishing. That's where he worked. That's what he grinds for. It's for that. But for you, when you were like, you know what, I had the beanie on, I'm gonna scrub toilets. Yeah.
I didn't scrub toilets, but I know.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, something is degrading.
Degrading, right?
Being ignored in the street, on the fucking high street, man. I was literally trying to rizz up old women in the high street to get pamphlets off of me.
It's boring.
It's shit. Yeah. Like shit, man. So that's why I grinded. Everyone gets onto me like I'm fucking choosing. Like, he's just going out of his way. He could have done anything. And he's this privileged kid in his fucking mum's house. Like, no. I needed this. Yeah. You know, that's why I did it for no money for years. For pennies. Yep. Why'd you do this? Why'd you stream that much? Why'd you do this many videos? Why are you there for all that? It's fucking ingrained in me. Yep. I have to. Yep. There's a responsibility on me. I've found a miracle route out of the position I was in. Yeah. You know? So that's why I have the grind to do what I do. I didn't mean to take an emotional spin.
No. I think
there's other stuff to talk about.
I think when people hear this side of you, it gives them resonance of how they can relate to you, and also you give people, like, there's people out there who are struggling the same thing you did. Yeah. At the beginning, and like it is fucking hard.
It's tough.
It is hard. Like when I think about like my sister-in-law, like she had to hit rock fucking bottom. Yeah. Rock bottom before she can figure out what she was going to do with her life. Now she's happy she can ever be, because she hit rock bottom. She goes, there is no fucking alternative. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to do it. And now I understand, and we have a better relationship.
Yeah.
Now that she talked me through that, right? Like, so don't feel bad at all.
I know.
I
went on an emotional spin.
No. But now, fuck that. Now I'm going to grind even harder with you. Like, no, fuck that.
Exactly.
Like, you saw a niche in the sport that you felt that it was opinion that the MMA media, you're not saying it's bad. You're like, it's not enjoyable.
They're not speaking for a majority of the audience.
Exactly.
You know?
Just like I said, the way you're presented to the media, to the fans, they love that shit.
Yeah.
They want to hear it. That's why you keep getting bigger views. Okay, 4 years you grinding. You start making money.
Yeah.
You started making money.
Yeah.
Walk me through there. You started getting noticed. You're starting to feel like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Here we go.
It's happening. Now let's talk about that side. Some positive spin of where I first started.
But you have to, if you just talk about all the positives,
Yep.
people don't even know positive. But you talked about where you came from, where you got that mindset. Because people think you wake up and you just grind. I tell my wife all the time. She goes, man, how do people get to that grind? They either have to fucking want it.
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead. Let's talk about the butterflies.
We
and
made it. I've made it, dude. I'm making great money. But yeah, as I go through my YouTube career, as you can call it. So the first few years, I'm not making any money. I finally get money probably after a year of doing YouTube. I'm hiding who I am. I don't want my friends to find out about it because I don't want them to see it when it's bad because then it's ridiculable. But when it's going well and there's some prospect in it, all of a sudden you're cool on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm getting no views for ages. And then after a year, I start making money off of it, and I'm getting a few extra $100 a month.
Yep.
A few extra $100 a month for me was...
Keyword. I'm going to get a question, but go on.
I'll go on about the few extra $100.
Well, you're going to keep on going, but I want you to tell me when the first time you showed your mom and dad, like, guys, we're not having fucking this.
Yeah.
We're going to fucking Salt Bay. They're like, who did you kill? Where did drugs come from? Go on. I want to know the whole thing.
Because they didn't understand it at first, so it caused a lot of arguments.
Yeah.
Like, why are you so... I remember... People watch my videos.
Yeah.
I was whispering a room away from my parents' bedroom while they were asleep. Yeah. My first few videos, I'm whispering.
Yeah.
I'm raging when my parents get home. Like, I can't record now. They're going to get onto me about what I'm wasting my time with.
Yeah.
So I started making a few extra $100. Then I started making a few $1,000 a year after that at the end of the month. Now I'm paying rent to the family. Well, you're paying rent. This is good. And I'm willingly upping rent to them.
How old are you at this time?
I'm probably, so I start at probably 19, turning 20. I'm probably 22.
22. So you're paying, hey mom, I got rent this time.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
I got rent. You don't have to cover me anymore.
Yep.
I'm paying rent now. I'm working down part-time at the job I was doing. I was delivering furniture, which is kind of strenuous to do. And then you come home and you do your YouTube stuff. But I was delivering furniture. So I started coming like half-time, part-time work. And as I started making more money on YouTube, I start lowering the amount I'm doing.
Yep.
Doing a bit less and doing a bit less. And eventually I felt safe enough, probably around 2023, 2022, to just go full-time onto YouTube.
Yep.
And I start showing my parents, like, look at this I'm making.
Yeah.
Look at this in my account. And it's more money than they've ever seen.
Wow.
They've never seen that money.
Yeah.
I don't know. Very early door, they were shocked. I think they get scared about it.
Yeah.
That it's a gimmick.
Yeah.
That's what the early doors was on YouTube when I started showing them the money. They thought I was doing some crime.
Yeah.
Like their mind could wander there. So when I start showing them, I think they immediately thought, he's getting donations from some guy in Sweden telling him to make a fucking joke about this or do an impression of this.
Yeah.
So they just shocked by that. But I think I actually get donation-wise, all the impression requests I get, it's constant.
Stand your base. Stand
your fucking base, mate. Yeah, you mad fuel of a thing. Yeah, we can go through impressions if you want. Now, I can do them.
Now, did your parents know that you were hilarious?
Yeah,
they did. Okay.
This is so vain to say, but I've been funny. I knew that. Yeah. I knew that when I was younger. That's why I pursued this. You have to acknowledge a true character assessment, ego aside, on who you are and what your actual potential is in life.
Yeah.
There are so many people that are trying to get through on YouTube, and I'm like, you're dull.
Yeah.
You ain't getting by on YouTube.
Yeah.
Or they're trying to, I want to be an NBA player.
You're not tall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm black, but I'm not tall.
Yes, I know. You're halfway there, but we're not all the way there, you know? But still, like, you have to be honest with yourself as a character assessment. So what do I have going for me? I've got all my limbs. I think I've got good genes, good DNA, but I'm not into sports.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm actually pretty athletic, but I'm not into that.
Yeah.
But I thought everyone's always told me I'm funny.
Yeah.
I've always been the funny guy. I've always been able to do voices. When I was younger in school, people used to poke me, do impression of this.
Yeah.
Do impression of that. So I was like, true character assessment, what am I good at? I can entertain.
Yeah.
Let me start going live. Let me start making videos. And I love MMA.
Yeah.
Fusion. Put it together. MMA content. And I can entertain, I think. Make it a thing. That's my niche in life. I'm going to chase that full board.
Yep.
See so many people chasing a dream in life that I'm like, dude, someone needs to tell you ain't got this.
Yeah.
And you need to rewire and recalibrate to something that you can do.
Now, how many times do you have to recalibrate to find that niche? Like you didn't wake up like, up, boom.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how did you know? Obviously, I feel like you knew that the MMA space, you saw that when you were listening to it. Because you're probably a fan at one point you probably still are a fan of Errol Helwani, right?
Yeah.
But you saw holes in the industry where you're like, I'm going to assert myself right there.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to work because there's a fan base out there where I can reach.
Yeah. It took me, I don't know, it didn't take me long. I was 19. But I went through a few phases of chasing this and chasing that. And I'm like, I'm not smart enough to do this. I didn't focus enough in school to do this.
Yep.
And even if I did, the payoff ain't good enough for me to even consider it.
Yeah. I
I would do this for minimum wage. If you can find something that you would do for a very shitty paycheck, that's the thing you should be chasing. But it took me a few times.
Okay.
I thought about doing different things. I thought about being a fighter when I was younger.
Yeah.
That immediately was no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because this is shit.
Yeah.
Like 9 to 5, coming home, doing YouTube video and streaming. That's one thing. 9 to 5 and then going into the gym
and fighting.
to get hit. I went to this fucking Muay Thai place when I was 19. I did it for like a year and a half. Inconsistently, I'd take like a month. They wouldn't see me for a month. Then I'd come back. Oh, what's up? It's me again. I'm here to train.
Yeah.
But I just hated that. 9 to 5 all day. Now there's this fucking Romanian guy in the gym that's trying to fucking take my head off because he hates his life. I'm not fucking trying to do this. I'm definitely going to do a training session with Tom Aspinall in the build up to the Jones fight. He's offered.
Yeah.
I'll take him up on that offer.
Yeah.
Definitely. I've got you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just a one in a lifetime opportunity.
Oh, yeah, 1,000%.
Yep.
Like I told him, like when we were training with Habib, I was like, dude, we're not going to record the second day.
Yeah.
Put it down. You're a massive fan.
Just enjoy this.
Just enjoy it. Sit back and relax. And you can, when your time is done, be like, guys, I trained with I took a class from one of the GOATs in mixed martial arts. I got to take classes underneath Habib, right? So I think for you doing that with, Tom
Aspinall, and I know Pimlet offered me to come on his pod in Liverpool, and that's Paddy Pimlet.
Yeah.
This is so sick to me. I'm talking to Demetrious Johnson.
Yeah.
I didn't take it in when I met DDP. It was all a blur.
Yeah.
Not that you fucking spiked me or anything.
Yeah.
But, DDP is the white P. Diddy.
Yeah.
In a way.
Oh, my God.
Reverse those letters around.
Yeah.
No, but I think when he met me, he probably afterwards thought, that guy was a bit weird. I was like, dude, this is fucking weird.
Yeah. Well, you're shut off since you're 19, and then now you're like,
the first person I spoke to in years, in like a long form conversation, other than like one of my friends, was Dricus du Plessis.
Wow.
As a fucking lifelong MMA fan.
Yeah.
Year and a half goes by of more grinding, more Apex events, more videos, more streams every day.
Yeah.
Demetrious Johnson is in front of me.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
It's a very strange re-entrance into the world. This is why people get onto me, but this is such a weird thing.
Yeah.
You know? It's weird.
I think it's beautiful.
I think it's great. When I post it, this is why it hasn't got to my head. Everyone says I have an ego, but it's mainly to like keep up confidence in front of my chat who just tear me down every day.
Yeah.
But when I post a video and it goes viral, I'm not just doing it for the hate. I'm giggling to myself when I post a John Jones video.
Yeah.
Like when I re-look at the video in an hour from posting a John Jones video, I go, oh shit, it's going viral.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, what have I done?
Yeah.
What have I done on this weird internet world that I enter myself into every day?
Yeah. I think it's great.
I have a strange life.
It's not a strange life. I think it's great. I love the thumbnails. You stay. It's your branding. Yeah. Right. Like you have your branding. Yeah. Have you done shirts before yet? Have you done any merch?
No, I don't do much.
Merch? No.
Chat donates to me. Do an impression. We could do impressions. What impressions do you want to hear?
Okay.
No, I'll do it and you guess.
Okay, perfect. Hey, lad. How many are we doing? We doing 3 or how many are we doing?
I'll do it in a voice. Hey, lad, hey. Men need to start talking, lad. Who's that?
I'll probably go with Paddy Pimlet.
That's obviously Paddy Pimlet. Yeah. Hey, lad. It's weird. I have a weird voice thing. Yeah. Where I can get him.
Give me John Jones. I
can't do it, black guy.
Why not?
Gee, man, come on, man. I can't do fucking John Jones. I ain't got the nuance of a John Jones. This is why I should do them and you should guess. But hey, lad. there's a red pill pimlet. Women need to stop talking, lad.
Yeah.
That's an alternative pimlet that you do.
Okay.
And there's obviously... Stand your base, mate.
That's fucking...
You mad fool of a thing, you stutcher mate. You mad fool. Come to my bear, bro, yeah? He's mad now, you know. McGregor's voice changed. He started at 50 G's, baby. He was very different. Now he's way... I don't know what happened to McGregor.
Dark
Someone
McGregor.
cloned him. The darkness took him. I think.
Cocaine.
Stand your fucking base, you mad fool of a thing, you mad fucking... Or I fucking strangle you. Let's wrestle, kid, yeah? Let's fucking wrestle, you mad fool. There's all of that. Who else? Oh, yeah. You just spoke to him.
Tom?
Sergey Pavlovich, he's a great fighter. I'd love to fight him. Absolutely amazing. Demetrious Johnson, he's a great guy. I met him. I shook his hand. He's an amazing guy. He hates that. Aspinall hates the impression. I tried. I said it. You don't have the cadence down. You don't have the right accent for it, mate. So
I think you did.
hello, John. How's it going, mate? Nothing personal. I just want to fight you. You know, that's Tom.
That's fucking him.
That's Big Tom.
Yeah.
What else have I got in my repertoire? Oh, there's a few others. Oh, I've got Bobby Green. I do a black guy.
I love Bobby. Yeah.
Come on, damn, Patty. Holy shit. Come on, man. That's kind of Bobby.
It's kind of Bobby. I'm a little Mexican tone in there as well.
Oh, hey, Holmes. I don't want to do the Mexican thing. But I've got Moreno. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow.
That's Moreno right there. That's Moreno.
But I promise you, man, I'm going to be a world champion, man. Moreno's a strange one. Put on a deep voice for the promo at least.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I fucking love it.
I've got a few. I mean, they get me to do so many impressions on the stream.
Well, I saw you had one. It was like, it had S tier, A, B, and it went down, and it was like you had all your things in there.
Yeah.
And then that's when it was blah, 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 blah.
Just going through all of them.
I thought, okay, give me one. Who you want as a fighter?
Hold up.
Who the fuck is that?
That's Nate Diaz.
Oh, geez.
Everybody talking shit. Hold up. Man. Come on, man. He does a lot of that. Who else? Oh, there's so many. They all just
Which one's your
slip
favorite?
my mind.
Which one's your favorite?
Ooh, which one's my favorite to do? I like doing Tom. It's so easy to do Tom for me.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It's because I can just, it's so natural of a shift for me to do. My chat will be screaming, do this. I need to think. There's ones that they always ask me to do.
Yeah.
That I just can't remember doing. Fuck.
My favorite.
I always end up
My
like
favorite's
this.
the Connor. I like the Connor one. That's my favorite.
What other impressions? Give me one, I'll try.
Oh, fuck.
If you name them, I might have them. I do a bit of a Volkanovski.
Volk is good, but Connor was just out. He just said that most outlandish shit. He goes, "How's Noah?"
Yeah.
Give me that line. You know that one.
I'm looking at you, Ali Abdelaziz, yeah? How's Noah, mate?
That's what.
How's Noah, you mad fuel?
Yeah.
He always has fuel. There's extra vowels in when McGregor speaks. You mad fuel. Let me do a couple of lines off there. Do me gooch, yeah? Always mentions his gooch. He doesn't, but that's what it's turned into on my channel.
His gooch.
Yes, the place between.
Between the balls and the butthole.
Yes, he always references that. Death sentence? I don't have a death sentence.
He just met Death. His Death just finally got. I mean,
Yeah, he just got there. Let me hone it. I need years to hone the impression of him.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the landscape of mixed martial arts, there are some things that happen. You know, Ilia Topuria relinquished his belt at 145. I was shocked when he did that, but it kind of sets up some new matchups that are coming up for him, especially, and everything. You know, him going up to Islam Makhachev. That's gonna be a banger fight.
Yeah.
Banger
Absolutely
fight.
amazing fight. That's the big fight right now that I've been saying, you know, we don't get the big matchups, but those are the big matchups. Those are the ones that are going to sell 1 million pay-per-view buyers. If we can see Ilia Topuria, Islam Makhachev, I know there's a lot of people like, you shouldn't have to fight Ilia. But it's like, what you got to see when you look at these big matchups is what's the alternative to that?
Yeah.
Is there a massive, oh, well, I guess we could just do this to follow along with the order of things and how they should be. But I love Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. And you know what? I don't even mind an Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira in the meantime for a title shot. I think that there's a theory about, you know, if there's a belt on the line, it's much bigger.
Yeah.
But people just love the two names. Don't always have to be a belt on the line. They do this with a BMF belt. But if Ilia Topuria fights Charles Oliveira on a pay-per-view, that's a big deal.
Oh, it's gonna be a banger fight.
They don't need to wait for an interim belt. They don't need to wait for an undisputed. So, yeah. I don't know how he's going to do it lightweight, though. Maybe you can speak on that. He's a smaller guy coming up.
It's a smaller coming up. It'll be interesting because he is bigger from when I heard him on the Joe Rogan podcast. Like 191, I think he was walking around. That's massive. So for him to cut to 145, it just seems almost like, how did he do that?
Yep.
But now that he's going up to 155, I always like when athletes go up heavier to their natural weight. right? Like him cutting to 145, that's not natural. He was able to do it. It's almost like Conor when he was cutting to 145. He was looking at Skeletor, knocking on death's door. Then he went to 55. I was like, okay, feels good. He beat Eddie Alvarez. And then, Conor, went off and fought Floyd. Shit was history. But I think he's going to look good at 155. I think he's going to have to deal with, people look good when they fight people who are there in the same size. I'll never forget Frankie Edgar, when he started fighting guys at 135, he was like, I'm not taking as much damage. I can actually take more damage. When he started fighting 55ers, he goes, you guys are like 170, 175. Yeah. So it almost kind of evens the play. So would he still have that power at 155? Right? That's the thing we're going to have to find out. I'm sure he will, but he'll have the power, but I'm sure the 155ers frame will be able to take it more than a 145er kid.
Yeah. I think the Ilia Topuria, though, and this is why I think he may have messed up, but I think he's in a position where the next fight has to be bigger for him. Because he's had so many, he's just knocked out Volkanovski and Holloway back to back. Yeah. And he was probably looking at, should I fight Volk again? I can't do it better. Yeah. So now he's sort of glory hunting. He's stuck to a level of competition that matches the level that he brings into the cage. He's now in a no gimme fight. Yeah.
It's always going to be the hardest fight next. If he was to fight Islam and beat Islam, it's like, who? It's going to have to be Arman Sarukian, someone who hasn't lost yet. Yeah. I mean, he's lost to Islam, but it's going to have to be a big fight. With that mindset, like when we talk about that, he's the guy who's not going to be in this sport for a very long time.
No, I think he'll be gone after another 2.
You think another 2?
Another 2, 3. If he loses, he might think, well,
I got to do 2 more.
Yeah, because he's such a name now in Spain, and he's a big followed guy. He got loads of views on JRE. But the thing about Ilia is, normally with him, the featherweight champion just became champ. He knocked out Volkanovski, he knocked out Holloway back to back. Yep. You would think the next fight he'd be some minus 1,000 favorite. Yeah. But now he's got got to be put into these 50-50s. He's forced it upon himself because he doesn't want to reset hunger. Yeah. He needs to maintain hunger because he's now made the millions. I think he was already quite well off anyway. Yeah. He's quite a smart dude. So now he's sort of going into this Makhachev matchup. The problem I have with it is his style, he's a bit of a bully. Yeah. Even though he's slick. Yeah. Even though he's good on the outside and he moves well and he's got such good timing and feints and head movement, he's very, he presses forward. They can't do anything about it. Yeah. He forces it. Yep. He's a bully.
He forces the fight.
Yeah, he forces the fight.
If you're going to run from him, he's eventually going to find you.
He's going to find you.
You're going to have to fight him, right?
Stay away. Stay away from Ilia.
I feel Islam, Sapa, body kick. If he throws a body kick, will he check in right hand? Yep. Will he catch it? Islam does have the judo background. He does have the wrestling background. Yep. So I like that because they're gonna clash. They're gonna clash.
They're gonna clash, which is why I like the Lopez matchup for him, because he would clash with Ilia in the pocket. Same with Oliveira. He's gonna walk in with his high and tight guard.
High tight guard, Muay Thai style.
They're massive.
Yes.
Compared to the featherweights.
Yes.
The lightweight to featherweight power dynamic jump is one of the biggest in a 10-pound range in the weight class. The bantamweight to featherweight, not so much.
Yeah, I get you. What I mean? Yes.
Welterweight to middleweight, they both hit hard.
25 to 35.
Yeah. They're similar. Yeah. But when it comes from, and we saw that with Figueiredo moving up, he had some success until recently. But power-wise, he had success. He still had power for the 35 division.
Yeah. But like you said, 35-pound division, but Corey Sandhagen, when we had him on, he walks around like 170.
Yeah.
When he's
big.
Out of shape, right?
They're all big.
So when you 125er, the biggest I've ever got is like 141, 142. Yep. When he fought Joseph gets up like 150. So it's not, the 35ers are a lot bigger. So the power. So I agree with you. That 10-pound jump from 45 to 55. Yeah. It's massive.
They all of a sudden become, you can't just get hit.
Yeah.
You can maybe at featherweight, he can dive into the pocket against Josh Emmett, who's a very hard hitter at featherweight. Yeah. But at lightweight, I worry about him because he tries to impose his game. Yep. And he has presence. Yep. A lot of fighters make a career off of having presence in the cage. Mm-hmm. They're the one dictating the pace. You aren't pushing them backwards. Yeah. They're going to take the center. Yeah. And again, at lightweight, I don't think these guys are going to let him take the center.
No, we're going to find out.
I don't think these guys... Well, we are. If he goes out there and backs Makhachev up in round 1 and has him scooting around on the outside like, fucking hell, this guy's a menace. Yeah. That's all of a sudden, oh shit. Yeah. Dude, Ilia's the real fucking deal. But I don't know if he'll win at lightweight. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I think... I think if he fights... I feel he fights Ilia... No, excuse me. I feel if he fights Islam... I think it's going to come down to who wins that clash.
Yeah, who wins the clash. And what do they do from the clash?
Yeah, because once that clash happens, does Islam judo? Does he shoot? if he's able to shoot and get Ilia Topuria down, does Ilia Topuria get back up? Does he get his darts? Or when they do clash, if Ilia sprawls, throws him off, then it's like, okay, that clash is going to be the break-in point of who's going to win that match.
It's just with Ilia, sometimes he has to sort of feel his way into a fight. He takes the first round, and either late in the first round he gets you, or in the second round he gets you. Against Makhachev, if he can make him grapple, and I think he can make him grapple.
Of course, he's
but
able
I
to
think
shoot,
Ilia will stuff a couple takedowns. Poirier did. A lot of fighters have been able to stuff Makhachev's takedowns. Volkanovski stuffed a lot of them as well. But with Ilia's short arms, all sort of like hook strength. He's not dropping people with a 1-2.
No, it's all he builds up his combinations.
He builds up his combinations. Their overhands, their lead hooks, their uppercuts to the body, to the head. When you do things like that, if you get pummeling early in the fight, over-unders, and Makhachev's on him up against the cage, even if he's failed a takedown, if he has to drive an underhook, that gasses out those arms.
Absolutely.
You know, whereas a guy like Pereira, he keeps his power a little bit more because it's on the leverage of the punches where the power comes from. The fact that it's an 80-inch long arm and it whips, it's like a whip around the pivot point. It generates more power from there. But Ilia is like a shorter-armed guy. I feel like his power is directly because of the explosivity that he has, because of the muscle.
And he throws it with his core. And when he throws his hooks, he throws his whole body at it, right? It's not a whoo. It's whoo, and he misses.
Exactly. So I think if he has to pummel and he plays an over-under game with Makhachev for a bit, and Makhachev starts wearing on him and he has to get back up a few times, I do question if his power will remain later into the fight. Because if Makhachev... I think Ilia without power is not the same. It's not the same. A lot of fighters, Volkanovski doesn't have this crazy power. Which means that he's arguably the same threat early as he is late in a fight.
But I think what makes Volkanovski so much different, I think Volkanovski's skill set, what makes him so good is, yes, he doesn't hit hard. Right? He doesn't have that same power. I'm sure he hits hard. He doesn't have the same power as Ilia, but his IQ and his movement, his kicks, it's hard to find him. When you try to hit him, you can't. He hits you. How do you outstrike Max when Max is bigger, but he has shorter arms? That's what makes Alex Volkanovski better. Where I think if Ilia Topuria lost his power, I don't think he has the movement like Volkanovski.
And I also think it's a mindset change for his opponent. You know,
because he need like walk me down. You're not gonna hurt me anymore, right?
Like even Holloway, who's got a granite chin. Once he got hit by Ilia, he's like, "Fuck, I can't keep getting hit by that. I can't." Now all of a sudden they're changed.
Oh, of course.
Their mindset in the fight is completely changed. If Makhachev, after a round of grappling with Ilia, I think Ilia's got a round and a half to take out Makhachev. But if Oliveira or Makhachev start noticing, I can take that. Then they start clashing.
It's a different game.
It's a different game. Yeah. Especially at lightweight.
I never forget Cisco Rivera. He was about to fight John Lineker. Right?
Power.
And I was with one of his managers, Alex Davis. And then he goes, all right, you're fighting Cisco Rivera. Don't get hit by him because Cisco Rivera was knocking people out. Left, right, so all his power. And John Lineker, 125, 135, fighting bigger guys. And then the first round, they're going back and forth, right? And he's just eating off Cisco's fights, punches. He sits down and Alex goes, why are you taking those shots? He goes, he fucking hits like a bitch. He goes, oh, all right. And he ends up knocking him out, right? And so if that could be a big thing, if those guys get hit by Ilia, he goes, oh, that didn't hurt that much. He goes, changes the whole dynamic of the fight.
It's round 2, round 3, He's not as powerful anymore. That's interesting. I don't think I'm going to get knocked out cold by this. That could either lead to them getting slept because they lack fearing it. But with Ilia's build and his strengths, which is his power, I think if he loses that at lightweight and they start thinking, this guy hits a bit like Gaethje. I've taken that. You know, this guy, Poirier, hit a little harder in the later rounds because Poirier's more of a volume guy. Then all of a sudden, that massive aspect that makes him the best fighter in the world, which is the power, the X factor. If he loses that, he's maybe just a guy. You know? And if
that's why I think makes it more exciting him going up to 55.
It's
because what does that power transfer? Is he still gonna be able to bully his way across the void? Is he still gonna have to force these, or is he gonna force these guys to fight him? Right? Like that's where I'm excited about. And how does Ilia approach Islam or Charles? I think the approach to Charles is a lot easier. But I think Islam has more of
a repertoire.
How he's going to go about it, right? They're going to sit down, watch it, Habib's going to look at it. Everybody's going to look at it. Where I think Charles like, we're going to go out there, shooter box style.
Go out there, high and tight guard, Muay Thai, teeps.
Yep.
You know,
I get dropped, I'm going on my back, come down. You're going to be. So it's going to be a little more a game. Another match I'm excited about is your boy, the King of Africa, DDP, taking on Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about that one?
I was going to say, Tom Aspinall, the King of Africa. I don't know, dude.
No, come on now. Come on. I know,
your boy,
I know my geography, all right? I know where people go.
DDP. I don't know anymore, man. These guys are... I used to think, you know what, DDP's got him. And I still think that, dude, he might just be too strong to be muscled around like this.
Yeah.
But Chimaev is truly on a different level.
I think DDP beats him.
I think he could, and I am leaning that way.
Yeah.
But now I'm real.
Yeah.
You know, I also want DDP to win, but I'm leaning towards DDP. Yeah. Because I think the idea of Chimaev is a round one guy.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. If he takes out DDP in round one,
if
he's got him.
This is my hot take. If Chimaev cannot get him down,
he will. But yeah.
But let's say he does get him down.
Yep.
And he doesn't finish him, right? I think he's spent. Because you look at his fights. You look when he fought Gilbert Burns, when he fought Kamaru Usman. He had Kamaru Usman fully fucking mounted, back hooks and everything, right?
Yep.
Working for the choke, pounding him, could not finish him.
Couldn't get him.
The rest of the time, he could not find it was shadow boxer. Granted, he might be sick or whatever.
Yep.
But if he cannot figure it out within those first 2 rounds or the first round he gets him down, I think DDP is going to do what he does best.
Yep.
He's going to be awkward. He's going to be, do the kicks. Yeah. And I think DDP is going to beat him.
Yeah.
Like I
could see it.
I think Khamzat Chimaev is more athletic, more traditional, but I think that awkwardness of the old what did he say? The lanky man style.
Yep.
I think DDP is going to put in the bag.
I could see it. It's going to be a my turn fight.
Yeah.
Your turn now is my turn.
Yep.
I think if DDP makes it out of... I think DDP will start the first round with, oh shit. You know, here we go. But then if round 2 starts, I can so see an image of like DDP in round 1, DDP in round 2. He'll have a smile on his face in round 2.
Oh, of course.
Like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
You ain't got that for another round, and I do.
Yes.
I do for the next 5.
Because he's had the Strickland fight. Even though Strickland's not the most athletic gifted fighter, he still has that presence all over you. Well, he does, but DDP was able to figure it out, right?
Okay.
He's had the fight with Izzy, someone who's, long, wiry. Whitaker, like he's spot good competition. So I think him fighting Khamzat, if he runs into trouble and he gets through it, I agree that he's going to have that smile on his face.
What do you think about my take on the DDP Chimaev fight, where this might sound like such a casual take, but there's hardcoreness behind it.
Okay.
What do you think about DDP shooting on Chimaev?
I love it.
I think I love it because...
Why not?
People would say, but you're going to grapple with him.
Why not?
You're not going to avoid the grappling with Chimaev for a round. It will happen.
Yeah.
What terms do you want it on?
Exactly.
I think DDP shooting first. If there's a slight moment where like Chimaev... Yeah.
It might go...
He ain't taking him down.
He's not taking him down. But if I shoot, I would say this.
Yeah.
In fighting, when I fight Hiroshima the second time, after even the first round, I beat him. Yep. Right?
You got credited with the takedown, by the way.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Oh, I did?
Yeah, the UFC stats say.
Yeah.
There you go.
When I was beating him in the first round, the second fight, kicked him, I sat down in the corner. I was not satisfied with how the round went for me, even though I won it, right? I said, I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to try to take him down. Just try. Even though I knew I couldn't blast double him and take him up. It just throws that puzzle piece on the table. Yep. So if DDP goes out there and throws it on his terms, like, okay, you aren't expecting me to shoot. Yeah. I'm going to shoot, just see how you react. But me knowing Khamzat, he grapples so fucking much. Yeah. He'll be able to defend it, whatever. But I know it's him like, you shot.
He will defend. Yeah. But this is why I say DDP should shoot on him. There's a few factors. People will meme this. DDP, the type of guy to shoot on Chimaev in round 1 on a takedown. But I think there will be such... You have to be at peace with the fact that you will grapple with Chimaev in round 1. He is not going to go out there and strike with you. That could be a funny thing that he does, like he did GM3, Gerald Mearshart, where he just goes out there and looks for the KO. But you will grapple with him. You have to come to terms with the fact that you can't avoid this.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So if you go into there like, I know I'm not avoiding this, which is what Whitaker tried to do, Usman, even though Usman's got good wrestling and Burns has got good grappling, I've got to avoid this. I've got to avoid this.
Don't.
If you go out there and say, it's on my terms.
Yep.
I'm going to shoot. And if you shoot at the same time, I'm going to head clash with you at some point, or I'm going to clash with you and I might get a bit of separation. But if he shoots on him, it's on his terms.
Yep.
Take fights on your terms.
Yeah.
You aren't being forced to the ground by Chimaev. You want it. And if he gets the better of you, which he will, so be it. You bought yourself 30 seconds of him trying to muscle you off of him, or 20 seconds of him trying to muscle you off of him. And if he takes you down, don't try and get back up.
Yep.
Don't work trying to get back up.
Grapple.
End up on your terms.
Yeah.
When you get taken down, you can choose how you land sometimes.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that in MMA. If you're going to end up on the ground, this is always the thing. I'm going to be able to shuck off the takedowns of Chimaev. No, you have to be at the peace with the fact that you're not going to be able to. But you can decide, am I going to land with Chimaev on my back, or am I going to land in guard?
Yep.
Am I going to land on bottom with full guard? How does Chimaev work from full guard?
Yep.
Burns put him in guard on bottom position.
Yep.
And Chimaev kind of didn't want it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like this. I ain't got my body lock. I ain't able to just drag him around and get the back.
Yeah.
Some fighters that are grapplers like Chimaev are dominant position or nothing.
Yeah.
I don't want it if it's not dominant
I'm gonna stop right here. Why are you so fucking intelligent?
About MMA?
Well, I mean, I understand why, but like, I can have a conversation like this with Michael,
Okay.
right? Meaning that you're like, you can accept a takedown, but I can dictate where I'm gonna land. Which is that's you're talking like a fighter right now.
Yeah.
Like, and people are, oh, he's not a fighter, Jen. I'm like, no, actually, like when I think about like if somebody shoots, I sprawl, I get the head off, I'm going to get taken down.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I gonna belly out? Am I gonna go to my back? Like when I fought Adriano the second time, I knew Henry says, don't throw any body kicks. He's gonna take you down. And I was like, I want him to okay.
Yeah.
If he takes me down, he's gonna fight me in my guard and I can throw elbows and I get his face, right? When you said that about you're accepting you're gonna get taken down, I can dictate where I'm gonna be taken down. Like you're gonna be in my guard. Where does this thinking come from? Is it from you just like, where does that come from?
I watch a lot of MMA. I watch a ton.
There's
I watch a lot of tape.
There's a lot of people who watch a lot of MMA.
I know, but I watch it with a different mind.
Okay.
Because I watch it with the mind that I'm going to be grilled on something. I'm not all-knowing MMA. As much as I don't feel like I am, I'm seen as that. Yeah. Like, oh, this guy calls himself the MMA Guru. He better fucking know his shit on MMA.
Yeah.
So I watch it and I think, how would I coach? If I'm predicting a fight, it's not just, oh, the odds, they might think this. Yeah. I'm watching like, how would I coach this guy to win? And will he do that? Will his coach say that? When I was talking to DDP versus... when I was talking to DDP's coach in person, I don't think if he took any of this information in, probably just thought I'm some fucking Make-A-Wish kid at his gym. But it's true. But when I was talking to him, he was like, what do you think about the Strickland matchup? And I was saying to him, can't let him push you backwards, push forwards. He's got a motorcycle injury on his thigh, stomp that leg, chew up that low kick, end your combinations with kicks. And I don't know if he took that, and I don't know if that made him do anything differently. But he did exactly that in the fight. Don't be scared to mix in takedowns on him. He's got a high and tight guard. And I even said to him, go over the punches. I don't know how much he was listening. I don't know if it changed anything. I don't think it did. I'm sure they were planning on doing all of that anyway. But I had a good read on the matchup, you know, on how someone should do things. Whether or not they implement that or not is a different story. Sometimes a fighter goes out and I'm just like, what the fuck was the game plan here? You've completely fumbled it. But when you see a fighter like DDP, and it's like, he always follows a game plan. Well, this is the game plan. This is what you should do. So when I say that about choosing on your terms, how are you going to land on bottom position? You have to accept certain things and not accept the second stage. Fights happen in stages. He gets you down, cool. Whittaker didn't want to end up on bottom. At any cost, don't put me on bottom position with Chimaev. No. It creates a... I hate to say this because I respect Whittaker a ton, one of my favorite fighters. But it creates a victim's mentality in the cage. It creates a bitch mentality in the cage where you're the victim. And you're admitting that. I don't want this. I don't want this. Just the change of I choose is so much in a fighter's mind in terms of whether or not they're going to get broken early in a fight or not. I choose. It's a win. It's a mental win. It's I did it. You know, I chose this. I didn't get forced here. Now I'm panicking. Now my heart rate's thumping even more. He shot on a takedown on me. Fuck it. We're going guard. Do what you want. Let's see how good you do guard on me. You know what I mean? And you can choose. And it gives you more survivability. You know?
I love when you say that because, you know, you think about the Sean Strickland, you think about the Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Merab. Right? if Sean doesn't have the mindset like I'm going to get taken down, I'm inviting the takedown, I'm going to force this fight against Merab, he's going to be so much better. But if he has the mindset like I'm going to keep my distance, I'm going to teep, I'm going to jab and all that stuff, Merab's going to get across that void.
He's going to.
Merab's going to take you down.
Yeah.
It's up to you. Of like, fuck it. I'm going to fight it.
Yeah.
You're going to fight my guard, and I'm not going to allow you to just ground and pound. I'm going to frame. I'm going to grab your hands. I'm going to look for triangles. I'm going to look to sweep you. And then when I sweep you, I'm not going to get up and run away. I'm going to sweep you. I'm going to stay on top. Yeah. Now it's on my terms. I'm on top. These aren't on your terms. And just when you were saying that, I was like, wow. Yeah. I've always thought you were intelligent. Like when you do your things, but when you're like, it's on your terms, I was like, yeah, you piqued my curiosity.
If it's going to happen, make it happen on your terms. It's the Kevin Holland thing. Yeah. You know, I'm almost like a Kevin Holland of life. I choose this. You know what I mean? It's almost cope. Yeah. You know? I'm not going to get out grappled. And then it's happening live on pay-per-view in the main event. Yeah. You're being out grappled. Oh, fuck. I thought I wasn't going to get out grappled. My coaches told me. Yeah. He ain't out grappling you. He ain't going to get a hold of you. Yeah. I feel like that's almost what O'Malley's coaches were telling him about Merab. Yeah. You're too quick. You're too slick. Yeah. You won't get taken down. You stuff takedowns off Aljo. Yeah. But instead what they should be thinking is, if it's going to happen, and you can be real about it and have that realism to it, fucking make it happen on your terms and you choose it. Cope about it. I fucking chose to grapple with him. Yeah, I'm being out grappled, but fuck it, this is where I wanted to fight. I knew this was going to happen in round 1, so it's happening on my terms or it ain't fucking happening. You know what I mean? Yep. So this is why I don't think DDP should go out there like, got stuff to take down. Fuck it, dude. Get on his hips before you. Yep. You know, and if he stuffs it, so be it. It'll be the least thing he expects. And for a second, Chimaev, who's a killer, he's a murderer. He goes out there, I'm going to fucking drag this guy in the first round, destroy him. For a second, he goes, what the fuck? Yeah. If you can snap that on Chimaev for a second, Whitaker, he never had a moment in that fight where he thought, fuck, what's going on?
It was like, he got me back.
He was complete composure. Same with Usman. Burns had him re-second guess himself. Yep. But all the good first rounds he's had, there's never been a snap in his mental game. That always happens in the later rounds. But if DDP shoots on him, there's a moment in Chimaev's head where he goes, what the fuck is he doing? Yeah. And all of a sudden, he's not this killer in a fight. Yeah. He's asking a question. He's on my hips. Yeah. And if he sprawls it, if he gets the whizzer and throws DDP over, and why did DDP do that? Now DDP can go, well, I'm going for a leg. Yeah. I'm going to go for a leg. See how he deals with this. Yep. I'm going to get guard back. Yep. I'm going to see if I can elbow him off bottom position. It's much easier to survive in guard than it is for someone to have
side control
with their body lock, and they can punch you, especially now with knees and you can't play the hand game. Don't get caught up. Yeah. Don't get caught up in those positions. Fucking choose it, man.
So then if you have to, so let's do a quick rundown. Okay. Obviously these matches haven't been announced yet at the time of filming this. Yep. Right. So who you got? Ilia Topuria, Islam.
I've got Makhachev.
Okay. Yep. I got Makhachev as well.
And I've got Makhachev second round TKO with a knee in the clinch.
Oh, damn. You going bad rounds too.
Yeah, I think he'll shoot a couple takedowns. Ilia will stuff it. Ilia will catch him a few times and people will go, ooh and ah. Yeah. And then when they clash again, I think Makhachev will go grab him. Yep. Ilia will think, oh, he's shooting again. Yep. Tie clinch, bang, bang, body, knee to the head. Ilia's all of a sudden stumbled. Downhill from there. Okay. That's what I think.
Okay. I'm not a guru because I don't know what he's doing. If he wins it, I don't know. I think if he wins it, it's going to be either later rounds, maybe by the Dars.
I think he beats Oliveira with a body shot though.
Ooh,
Ilia.
Yeah, I think Ilia will grunt. He'll out bully.
Yeah, he could back up Oliveira.
I think he'll back up Oliveira once he feels power. Yeah. Okay, DDP, Khamzat.
I got DDP. I think he'll survive the first round. Second round will be competitive. He might get taken down again. Okay. But I think he'll shoot in. I don't know. If I'm DDP, I'm shooting in on Chimaev. Okay. He might not be thinking that. He might think that's dumb.
Yeah, I don't think he'll shoot him. I think he'll do.
You know what I mean? He'll choose something. If he is getting taken down, he'd be like, I'm pulling guard.
Yeah. I would hope he had that. Yeah. I'll be curious to see if he does have that IQ of like, it's going to be on my terms where I want you to land.
And I'm not going to be cramped up against a cage. Yeah. I'm going to take the center first. Yep. If you shoot early, we're in the center of the cage. I'm in guard. Yep. I'm not getting cramped up in guard up against the cage where I can't maneuver and I can't get to a leg and I can't pull an arm bar because the cage is there. You know what I mean? Yep. So I think he takes the center early. Doesn't stuff it. Yep. Lets it. Yep. Flops right to his back, but it'll be so easy for Chimaev, whereas other people might put up a better sprawl. Yeah. It'll be so easy that he'll land better for himself in a better situation for himself. So I think DDP round 4, round 3 TKO.
Okay, I had DDP as well. Okay, and then Sean Merab. Who do you have in that one?
I got Merab.
Merab.
I worry that O'Malley could pull it off this time.
Yeah.
But I think Merab. I think there's an arrogance to O'Malley's stand-up where he hasn't been mauled on the ground, so it's not going to happen to him. But now he'll be operating the stand-up of the fight, not under this impression that Aljo couldn't take me down.
Yeah. Oh, no.
I've got great takedown defense.
Yeah.
He will be operating under the condition that, damn, he ragdolled me last time. So there will be more second guessing on the feet from O'Malley.
Oh.
And then Aspinall Jones, we can discuss just a little snippet of.
I think Tom.
I think
Tom can beat John Jones because how fast and athletic he is.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is that this is where me and Michael were talking is that Jones says he wants 6 months.
Yeah.
I don't expect Tom Aspinall to wait 6 months.
No.
If Jones says, oh, he can fight somebody else, I think it's for Jones to get more data on Aspinall because there's not a lot of data on Aspinall when he fights. Blitzes across the void, throws a big shot, knocks somebody out. I mean, he has had, back and forth when he got rocked by Pavlovich a little bit when they're like kind of...
He stung him.
Stung him a little bit, right?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I see. But other than that, I think Jones wants more data on him. And I think if Aspinall can weather and take the fight to John and not be caught up in the mystic aura and don't allow Jones to run away from him, I think Tom beats him.
Yeah. I think Tom, and the reason why I think Tom, you know what? I didn't think it as much at first. When the prospect of the fight came about, before even the Blades rematch happened for Tom, I thought he might come undone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Jones might just be too reptilian brained.
Yeah.
He does this all the time. But I'm more confident in Tom now because I trust in I know how John's acting. You know?
Who, John?
I know how John Jones is acting. He don't want it. He really would. I don't know if he's not scared of Tom. I don't think John Jones is scared of anyone. If there was 100 men versus a gorilla, Jones would be like, fuck it, I'll try it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Jones has got that thrill-seeking brain. He may operate that in bad times, but he's got a thrill-seeking brain. So I don't think he's scared. If Tom was the next one up when Jones was a champ 5 years ago,
Jones would have fought him easily.
Jones would have fought him easily. But it's the doubt. When you give a guy like Jones some doubt, it's such a power because he had no doubt against anyone else he's ever fought. He's so much better. And that's almost what carried him through a lot of his career.
I see.
I'm better. On the early doors, he's too athletic for Rampage and Shogun. These are welterweight-sized guys these days.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But nowadays in the UFC, I think he knows Tom is the antidote to him in terms of fighting.
Yeah.
You know? If you look at John Jones's career, as great as he is, he's never fought a guy his size or bigger with finishing potential.
Yeah.
That can grapple.
Well, I think he has like
name.
Thiago Santos. You said the same size.
Not his size or bigger, Thiago Santos.
You don't think so?
Tom Aspinall ain't making middleweight.
No. Thor, the guy with the
hammer on his chest.
Yes.
Maheta, yeah.
He fought at middleweight?
Yeah, he was a middleweight before he got knocked out by David Branch.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he fought Kevin Holland. He fought Kevin Holland in his
Oscar
debut.
Gustafsson. I mean, they fought.
But does he have one punch knockout power?
No, God, no.
Not like Tom.
No. Oh, who else? No. The genetic makeup that Tom Aspinall has, he has not fought somebody like that.
No.
Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah.
I thought you meant John Jones has never fought somebody the same size as him.
No. He has fought people that were weighed the same as him.
Yeah.
DC probably weighs more than him.
But the genetic build that Tom Aspinall has right now.
But someone who has the presence of Tom in the cage.
Yeah. No, he hasn't. No,
the frame.
He hasn't fought like Suga doesn't. He can't grapple.
He can't. He doesn't have one punch knockout power.
Yeah, and the fact that he got caught with that easy ass guillotine, I was like, dude, all you gotta do is put your hands here, kick his hips away, hand fight. You would have been fine. But you were like this.
Yeah.
So So I agree with you. I think this is the first time John Jones will fight somebody, especially, I thought you meant like, if Jones really wanted this fight, he would have already accepted it a long time ago.
No.
Right? The old Jones would have been like, next year, I'll fight him. Let's make it happen. Where now he's like, I think if I do lose, I want $50 million.
And he says it as well. For John Jones' whole career, he's like, I'm going to destroy. I'm going to beat. I'm going to win. That's all of his speaking points going into fights.
Yeah.
For the first time, and I swear to God, John Jones said this, these guys want me to gamble my legacy against this other guy. What language? As a champion.
Yeah.
You know, we hear a lot of language. Strickland was a champ once and his language was colorful, but this language this ain't John Jones.
Yeah.
Gamble your legacy? What gamble? You're John Jones.
Yeah.
So I think he senses like, fuck.
Well, I think
he's bigger, he's stronger, and, which is so uncommon, he's bigger, stronger, and faster.
Yeah. No, he's definitely faster.
One punch knockout power.
Yeah.
Can grapple.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I don't think he's going to be as easy as Gane. He might get taken down and destroyed. We don't know. He's a heavyweight at the end of the day. He's good. Could grapple him for heavyweight.
Yeah.
But I reckon if I had to give a prediction, I think Tom Aspinall goes out there, feint heavy. He does a lot of that.
Yep.
A lot of that stuff. Jones goes, I'm not just going to wade forward like I did against Cyril Gane.
Yep.
Calf kicks, smash.
Yep.
Calf kick, smash. Too low for John to catch.
Yep.
Fast. John maybe catches him with some stuff. Maybe shoots in. Aspinall's going to stuff it, I reckon. Separate like a Dominic Reyes could. And then he blitzes in. Bap. Catches John. I think John goes down in round 1.
Ooh.
I reckon.
I think it's going to come down to, I told Tom this in person. I said, it's going to come down to how do you get to him? Right? How do you get to him? And when you saw the eye poke. I saw that. It was at the after.
Yeah.
Okay. So if he gets to him, how does he get to him? And when he gets to him, what is his choice of navigation?
Yeah.
Right? Because I told him, I was like, if you allow Jones to dictate what happens on his terms and keep you away and run away and kick and punch and all that stuff, he will beat you. I was like, he will beat you. But if you force him to fight, like I'm going to force you to fight me. Like you're the go, whatever. You're going to force him to fight me. You can catch him with the pop, with 1-2, or the exchange. You come off with the right hand. I feel you will win. When you force him to fight you, you will beat him. But if you can't force John Jones to fight him, you will lose. And I think that's what they're coming at too. I feel Tom can get him to fight, but I just haven't visually seen it yet.
Yeah.
So
because we don't know, but that's the thing about Tom Aspinall. We don't know how good he is, but that's because of how good he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he said it, and this is
exactly.
This is one of the best edits from Tom.
Yeah,
he's like, everybody keeps asking me, what happens when you drag him to the later rounds? What happens when you drag him? Fucking drag me there, then.
Yeah.
He said that in an edit once, and it was like, fuck, he's right.
Yeah, I told him this.
You got to force him to reveal himself.
Yeah, I just says, take me to. I said, people always say. He said, well, people always try to drag me out. Drag me to deeper waters. And I said, well, it's not your fault when they're trying to drag you to deep waters. They drown themselves. Yeah. Right? And I was like, if it was so easy, how come everybody doesn't have the shortest fight time in the octagon? I was like, it takes hard work to do that. I can't fucking do it. Yep. I'm not walking around with this, God-gifted power, right? Yeah.
And I think for John Jones, it's elbows. Elbows is his way. If Jones finishes Aspinall, it'll be with an elbow. Whether it comes from ground and pound because he's got some of the nastiest, he has that leverage. Yep.
Or if he blitzes and he catches.
Yeah. Lead elbow.
Because I got hit with it, and Jonathan Haggerty got hit with it with Super Leg.
He did.
Right? Like he came in, timed him.
And that's Haggerty's thing, blitzing him with elbows.
Yes.
So Super Leg read that. Oh, he's going to crash into mine.
Yep.
So I think that's for John. I've got kind of long arms, but not crazy long.
Yeah.
But John's arm reach is crazy. So his elbow is like Ilia Topuria's fucking overhand in terms of reach, right? Yeah. So I think if Tom does a lot of that, Jones just shows him the elbow. Yeah. Aspinall will go, I don't want to walk into that. So that's when now he's on the back foot.
But see, that's why it's such a hard. When I simulate it, it's like, hey, Yep. I don't have to bite on the feints. It's almost like, when are you gonna go? You're playing with that window. When are you gonna go? And I'm like, he comes to a certain distance. I'm gonna throw the elbow, throw the elbow. Yep. He pushes him off. Oh, the blitz didn't work. Do it again. It's a hard. That's why I'm excited about the fight, because how does he get there? Because once he gets there and they start fucking fighting, I think this gorilla's gonna come out of that dust cloud. Yeah.
So if I had to match a perfect way for Aspinall to do it, come out, put your chin up high. I honestly think so. He does it a bit anyway.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's a tree.
Put your chin up high. Yep. And feint. Yeah. So immediately, because that's how fighters work, they go, his chin's up high. Yeah. Immediately in a fight, there'll be a thought of that. Yeah. Like, his chin's kind of up high right now. Yeah. And then low kick. And then start tucking it a bit. And then what I think Aspinall should do is a little fucking jab to the body, step off. Oh, yeah. Blitz in. Jones might bring up a high and tight guard because he knows the power's there. Yep. Fucking stab a jab to his body. Yeah. Then start feinting that low. Yeah. Forward, low. Yeah. Blah, blah. Yeah. 1-2 down the pipe. Yeah.
If I was to come back and fight at 135, how do I get it done? What's my skill?
At 135?
At 135. I ain't going to fucking 25. That's just
if you fight
hard.
Merab.
Merab or Sean. What do you think? Let's go with Merab. Me and Merab are good friends.
Okay. If you were to beat Merab, oof,
What do I got to do? What does the mighty one have to do?
I don't know what you can do.
What do you
Merab's
mean what
very.
you can do?
I'm just being real. Merab's gonna, because Merab, he already has a physicality over people his size or bigger.
Yeah, so he's probably
So-
going to ragdoll me.
But in a way, you maybe you scramble heavy,
Okay.
Granby rolls,
Okay.
roll for legs.
Okay.
This is the type of thing with DDP Chimaev, but you ain't shooting on Marab.
Yeah.
But things like don't let him just hold.
What do you mean I'm not going to shoot? I can shoot up fucking state
You,
champ.
you
Oh,
could,
that's-
you could, but I wouldn't advise it
Oh,
for you
okay.
against a Marab. What I would say is you Granby roll.
Yeah.
You roll a lot.
So
you
except
go
when
with
you
him.
take it down. What about my Muay Thai clinch?
You have it,
Yeah.
but that will come.
Oh, okay.
You know, that'll happen, but it's not going to happen if he immediately gets his hands on you.
Yeah.
I don't think. So if he gets the body lock, you Granby.
Yep.
You know, you roll, go with his takedown. If he wants to pick you up, fuck it, dude. I'm choosing how I'm landing.
Yep.
I'm going to tuck into this.
Yep.
It's when I land that you're going to have to control me. You got me. But when we land and I scramble, that's when there's going to be a problem for you. And then what I would do is I would throw a lot of knees on the inside. You have to fight as if he can't KO you
Yeah.
on the feet, even though he probably could.
Yeah.
Like anyone can get caught.
Yep.
So I do a lot of clinch work.
Yeah.
You know, that was what it would be. A lot of immediate clinch work. He's shot in. Elbow.
Yeah.
Shit like that. That's what I think should happen.
Well, my friend, that's why they call you the MMA Guru, because you got
Yeah.
a lot of fucking IQ up there,
Yeah.
and I love it.
Which is why I think Pantoja's a compelling matchup, but hey.
I'm not cutting
I don't think they're
125,
gonna do
man.
that.
I got to keep that.
For Merab.
For Merab. Oh, Merab versus
Yeah,
Pantoja.
I want to see that. I think that's a top level
I think
matchup.
it'll be a great matchup. I think the biggest thing with that is that Pantoja, who's about to fight? He should be fighting Kai France.
France.
I think he beats Kai France.
Yep.
But then you have Manel Kopp there. That'd be
Yep.
interesting if Manel Kopp can keep him off
Rematch.
the rematch,
Yep.
keep him from taking him down. And then you have Muhammad Makhachev. If he ever gets back into UFC, he just wanted karate combat. We'll see if he gets back there. That's another great matchup. Then after that, I think after he beats those guys, he goes to fight for the 135.
Yep.
I like the matchup between him versus Sean O'Malley more than Merab, because Merab's just a fucking machine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be a sick fight. Merab versus Alex Pantoja.
Yeah. I don't know how I would put you against Merab. It's tough.
Yeah,
That is a tough
yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what your mind would do. Like, what would the simulation be in your mind, and how would you?
Nah, I don't
say-
know. There's certain ones where you haven't been there, so I haven't even thought about that. But some of these fights, dude, I go to sleep thinking about fights. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like, how would I beat so-and-so in
Yeah.
a fight, you know? I fucking beg for the day that a fighter tries me and I fucking smash him with an elbow.
Might be soon. Might be me. Like, let's spar, man. Go. Let's see what you get to do.
No, I don't. I don't know. What do you think it would happen if a fighter tested me in person?
Who are you?
Yeah.
I
They
don't
would
know.
win.
I don't know, but you're pretty fucking intelligent. I just haven't seen you move before.
No, I can't fight.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I feel like that's going to happen one day.
You think so?
If I go to a UFC event, I reckon some fighter, because yes or no, it would be such a viral moment for them. They'd win over so many people. We were talking about this off camera.
I think it depends on who it is.
Yeah.
Sean Strickland, run for the hills.
Yeah. Ian Garry, I think, would go for me. He would definitely get in my face.
Chandler, I think he will have a conversation with you. I don't think
Yeah, he would pull me aside
He'll put you
aggressively.
aside aggressively. Talk, hey
Somewhat.
man, why'd you say this stuff?
Yeah.
You know, Nate Diaz, he probably slap you.
Yep.
If you
There's
take
a few of them like that.
If you slap you, it's like, damn man, that hurt.
That's what I think.
think
I
it'd be fine.
didn't say that. 'Cause-
Jones,
Yeah, he's getting me.
he's
He
gonna
put
get
a Bane to me. Do you feel powerful? He put his hand on my shoulder, probably. Like, oh fuck, dude.
yeah.
Where's his handler?
Yeah.
Where's the person watching him 24/7 in case he drinks? You know what I mean? Good lord.
But I just think it depends on
And
where you're at.
Button, I don't. When I said I wait for the day that a fighter tests me, I didn't think I'm gonna beat them. But
No,
I'm gonna
exactly,
be like,
exactly.
dude,
You're inviting it. You're like, you know, it's gonna happen one day, right?
So
It's
I
gonna-
choose it on my terms.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's when I started doing this, I have to pick fighters losing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I picked Alex Volkanovski to lose to Diego Lopez. And, you know, I said, good job on your stuff. But I'm sure we'll see him one day.
Yeah.
Granted, you say different things than I do.
Yeah,
so I
very
never
different.
worry. I never worry about it. Or I saw Nate Diaz and, you know, I never know how he was going to react when he fought Jake Paul. But it was great, man. I was like, good fight. And, you know,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
But I know that's going to happen. UFC event, there will be a fighter that's like, I'll get a viral
I was going to try to
moment
fly
off
you out
this.
to International Fight Week and do the show there, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, but
Maybe.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they'll walk up to me and think, damn, he's kind of big.
I think.
Don't you think? There might be a bantamweight out there like this fucking pussy, and then they turn a corner and go, fuck, he's kind of a giant human being.
Yeah, and I'm like, fuck, we'll let it go. We don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. I'd lose. I'm sure fine. Maybe I'll fight one day.
Maybe.
Yeah, misfits. Boxing. You never know.
Okay, we're getting off topic. I want to stay on this. So what would you do different to change the landscape of mixed martial? Because it's a very hard thing to do, right? Obviously, like you said, back in the day, me and Mike always have this conversation that a company never wants to make its stars bigger than the company itself.
Yep.
And the reason why I believe they don't do that is because if you spend all this time building up a star, right? You put all this investment in, and they've done that before at a certain point in time where UFC wasn't what it is now, or any company isn't what it is now.
Yep.
But they do that, and then once that star loses, you lose all your investment, and the company is now they don't build stars because the brand is so massive that there's no point to building any stars, because if you build a star and they lose, then it's like, okay, that's our loss, but the UFC is still massive.
Yeah.
So what would you do different to change the landscape of the industry of mixed martial arts? Like, how can it be sexier? It's not going to be like it was when I was fighting in GSP and, Jones and, you had a lot of guys who were big stars back then.
Yeah, this is a video idea I was going to have probably later this week, but I'll say it now. A few things that I want to change about the UFC. So you're saying if I was put in charge and I had full control over what was going on?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the generalized question I asked was like the landscape. How do you feel about the landscape? We're 6 months and we're halfway through the year.
Yeah. And
how do you feel the landscape of mixed martial art is? I know the premier sport is UFC, so we can stay on that. Yep. And like, how would you change? Like, it's not exciting right now, right?
Yeah. How would I make it exciting?
How would you make it exciting?
Immediately, we're out of the fucking apex for good.
Yeah.
And I'd trim off probably about 2 to 3 cards a year. That's what I would do. They're in a transitional period with a new company.
Yep.
They're going to leave ESPN.
Yep.
I actually think that at this point, they could be like holding hostage a Jones versus Aspinall matchup to sort of leverage against a new promotional company or a broadcasting deal. Like, if you sign with us and give us this money. Yeah, they did that with McGregor. Yep. So they could say, oh, listen, sign with us. We got Jones Aspinall ready to go in like November, New York or something. But if I wanted to change it, I'd make the Contender Series more of a tournament format. So I'd have people compete at the start of the show and then maybe do a few week gap at the end and have them come back and the winners of the earlier Contender Series. Because I think that's good. Yep. Contender Series is good. I like it. But we're just doing the thing right now in Contender Series where if we need fighters, we're signing them. It doesn't matter if they look good or not. It doesn't matter if they are good or not. If they just win on the Contender Series by finish. Dana White likes to pretend he has standards sometimes. With Torres Finney. Like they didn't sign Torres Finney as a fighter. Maybe for good reason after his fucking UFC debut. That was shit. but so what I would do is I'd have the Contender Series be a tournament format.
Yep.
Then I would have, what else would I do to improve the UFC? More hometown events.
Yep.
So there'd be more enemy territory. You're going into enemy territory. The problem with the Apex is it doesn't belong to any fighter. Some people become like an Apex warrior because they win a couple fights in the Apex and all of a sudden it's their realm that someone's fighting in. But the storyline of the UFC used to be, when is someone going to fight Yuri in the Czech Republic? When is someone going to fight Jan Blachowicz in Poland? When is someone going to fight Dricus du Plessis in South Africa?
Yeah.
When is someone going to fight, I can go through the list, Adesanya in New Zealand or Nigeria, what I mean, wherever he wants. But any of those things, like a home state thing, it seems like there's no planning the event's location behind the fighters that will be on the card. No one cares if it's Chimaev versus DDP in Vegas. It's big and it's a massive fight and they need it to happen. But when are we going to have more? Someone's going into enemy territory. Someone's defending in front of their home crowd. That's when someone shockingly silences a crowd. When Stipe Miocic knocks out Fabricio Verdum in Brazil and the whole crowd goes dead silent.
Yep.
Then when Stipe Miocic knocks out Overeem in Ohio.
Yep.
And the whole crowd goes crazy. We don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
We have a couple millionaires in the Apex.
Yep.
And some family of the fighters.
Yep.
Yeah. You can individually hear individual people in the crowd cheering on someone. There's no aura. There's no energy. There's no consequence.
Yep.
So that's a problem right now. There's a few other things I'd also do. I would do some kind of announcement ceremony more than Dana White's fucking bald head on a fucking selfie screen of a camera. Yeah, just chuck me my fucking phone, kid. Chuck me phone, kid. I'll fucking record this. Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. That's what we're going to get.
Yeah.
Brace yourselves for the announcement of
Or we
Oliveira
might get Nina.
Topuria.
We might get Nina, you know.
Oh, yeah, we might get Nina. Tits, and also Oliveira. She'll have one fucking picture of Oliveira on the left tit and one of Topuria on the right. We'll just do a nip reveal for both of them, and that's how they'll announce the fights. But
So-
Dana White is just like, give me my fucking phone, kid. I'll announce it. Like, we need something.
So
how
I
about
think-
if Oliveira and Topuria are in Vegas, you do like an impromptu face-off, and then you announce the fucking fight, and you have them oh shit, they're in person, they're doing a face-off. It adds to the announcement. Last but not least, face-to-face interviews.
Yeah.
If MMA Guru and Demetrious Johnson can get face-to-face before GTA 6, the UFC can start having main event fighters go face-to-face before the event. I know JDM and Bilal are boring and don't really have personalities, but they might actually kick up a fuss about each other if they were in front of each other. They can barely hear each other at the press conferences. The media's asking the dumbest questions ever because the MMA media are on the fucking short bus. and that's a massive problem with them. They ask the same, how was your training camp? How did it feel to be in Columbus? Well, no one's from Columbus here, so it doesn't fucking matter how it feels to be in Columbus. There's no difference from being in Columbus to being in fucking Chicago, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they did that and they had face-to-face interviews, JDM, Bilal, and then whatever the next, what's some other fights coming up?
Sugar Sean versus
Sean
Merab.
O'Malley, Merab. They had nothing to say at the press conference.
Yeah.
It was dead. There was no hype. I made a whole video about how boring it was. But if they were in front of each other, it's different. It's different when someone's in front. If someone just says, I think I'm going to destroy him, and he's on the other side of the stage next to you, and you can barely hear him over the echo of the crowd and the sound system, it fucking means nothing. But if they're in front of you, looking at you, telling you that, you're more likely to get a response out of someone. You're more likely to get some drama. Boxing does this, and boxing is shit to watch.
Yeah, the zone, they do it.
Ryan Garcia, Rolly Romero. It was shit to watch.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good fight. There was a knockdown and nothing else in that fight. Devin Haney's fight against, I think it was Ramirez, and then a Barboza versus Lopez. Some moments. Canelo's fight was shit.
Yeah.
There's nothing to see.
Yeah.
But at least in boxing, they had Garcia, Haney, and Barboza, and then some other fucking Latin American name guy, and Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez, and they're all going back and forth. That's the equivalent of us having Poirier, Gaethje, Pimlet, Oliveira, Topuria, and Makhachev in a room on each side of each other. Yeah, boxing over promotes because the product is shit.
Yeah.
And it's rarely ever good. All you talk about in boxing is controversy.
Yeah.
What was that referee's decision? What was that stoppage? What was that scorecard that came out? What was the decision?
Yep.
The fight itself is always secondary to the actual narrative around the fight. If you could match that in the UFC, where you could match the promotion to how good the product actually is,
Then
you'd be in the money and you'd immediately sell more pay-per-views and everything would be way better.
Well, I feel like COVID ruined that.
It did.
Right? Because when, I'll never forget when you had those big press conferences where you had Conor McGregor there saying like, who the fuck is that guy? Granted, he's, one in a million, right?
Yep.
He was very good on the mic.
He was great.
But you had that, that face-to-face. You'd have the big trailers to a big event. You would have those big monumental things.
Yep.
And I agree with you. Like when they were trying to Conor was like, I want to go to Russia. I want to fight him on his home territory, right?
I'll get Khabib in Russia. Dana loved that.
Yeah, or I'll get
loved that.
Habib in. But once again, when you start doing that, you're taking away awareness from the brand itself, right? And that's where I feel that with COVID, they seem that they can make it easier because we have the Apex. Why not? We're still making great money. People are still watching it.
They're coasting.
They're coasting.
They are.
Right?
They're
And
on
I
cruise
think,
control.
I think there's no reason for them to change. Right. And so that's why maybe he's going to be promoting boxing when he is going to be promoting boxing now.
He is.
But I think it's
His
a
side chick, basically.
His side,
to the UFC.
his side chick.
He's
But
got some roster. that
It's
he's
so
working on.
hard to fix that because it's almost like you're enabling. Everybody's enabling him. Well, not him. I guess they are enabling him to be able to do that. And it's such a hard thing because back in the day, I felt like that was the best time because you had so many different characters and fighters and stars that you would get, those big mega pay-per-views. We have the 3 title fights, or I remember forget when GSP, when he fought Josh Koscheck.
Yeah.
I can't remember the rest of the card, but I was such a massive GSP fan, and he jabbed the fuck out of him
Because of the beef.
But
And the beef was there as well.
And the beef
going
was
into
there
that
too.
Fight, yeah.
Yeah. And then I like what you said, like if they did, I never forget David Haney versus Ryan Garcia when they did the sit down.
Yeah.
And he goes, 29. He goes, I don't think he's taking it too serious.
Yeah.
That shit was
hilarious.
It was
That's a meme
hilarious.
that goes viral.
Yeah.
And you know what? They weren't even in the same room for that.
They weren't?
They weren't. No, they edited them side by side. Ryan Garcia on one chair, Devin Haney on the other. And they edited they literally held them. They did. I don't know how they rightfully did this, but they actually edited them side by side and recorded them individually.
Wow. I would not know any difference.
Do you see what boxing does for boxing fans? You see what they're doing? They're literally illegally lying to the fighters about things that they are going to do for the promotion.
Yeah.
But then they'll just do it anyway. They care about making money in boxing because there's not this... I guess there is a wealth of cash.
But I think the UFC is making money.
They are, but they could be making more. And if they make more, they can give the fighters more.
Yeah, that is true.
And they can give the fans more fun.
Yeah.
Instead of watching fucking...
I don't know.
There's an Erin Blanchfield versus a fucking... someone else, Macy Barber main event coming up soon in the Apex for 5 rounds. Yeah. Fuck off. Torturing us like this. It's 6 a.m. UK time. I'm not trying to watch that shit.
Yeah.
I don't care if you put Gamrot versus Ludovic Klein in the co-main event.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking... It's just weak. Yeah. I'll watch it. I'm hooked.
Yeah.
You've got me. I can't stop watching this shit.
Yeah.
Please let it be good.
Why are you so addicted? Why are you so... Like, you have such... you're very passionate about...
Because it's fun. And now I'm connected.
Yeah.
Now I'm actually in the world. I'm making it fun for myself. I'm more connected now. I'm the Dricus du Plessis Adesanya build up. Yeah. There's certain fights I need to go a certain way, or I might not choose to live in the world where it doesn't go a certain way. I'm now invested emotionally. I insert myself in the narrative, in the promotion, the Bryce Mitchell-Gene Silver fight. I was crushed.
Yeah.
I was crushed. I saw fun and I thought, I'm going to make this even more fun.
Yeah.
And I'm going to help this mature into a big storyline going into the fight. I'm going to make this fun for myself. So that's why I'm so addicted. Yeah, and I can't stop watching. I ain't got nothing else in life, so I might as well watch the UFC.
Maybe that's why he gets all mad. Because when he gets all mad and pissed off about, I'm talking about Michael here, chat, I always feel like, man, Michael, it's not a big deal, man. Just relax. And he goes, it is a big fucking deal. It is. And it's like, you guys are so passionate and you guys love it that much. Yeah. Well, I'm like, God, it is. Dana White's going to do what he's going to do. And it's another card. I take this weekend off. Oh, I'm going to go play video games. But this is all you guys got.
Video game. Yeah, it's all we got, man. That's all we've got, Michael.
But yeah, if I could interject, though, Demetrious had... How many title fights did you have, DJ?
Here, I'll say this. I had 11.
You should have made infinitely more money than you did. So
yep. Here we go. So in the 16 fights that I had in a time frame, it was like $3.1 million.
That's good fucking money, though. But either way, I know.
Yeah.
I know. He's a world champ. Yes.
He should be getting that for 2 fights at most.
So I'd say $1 million a fight.
Yeah,
would be good for champion at minimum.
So 3, let's say 3 fights. You should have got that for 3 fights.
Yep. Yeah. So me and Michael were talking about this. I'm gonna give you context and you can harp on this, right?
Yep. So
Michael said that you guys are paid like shit, and I was like, okay, well, let's talk about the pay, right? When I first started fighting mixed martial arts, I was 5 to show, 5 to win. And then it got to a point where I made, $380,000 a show, then plus $40,000 for the Reebok money, and then you get a $50,000 submission a night bonus. So you're looking at like $500K for your 8th consecutive title defense out of pay-per-view points. We've gone over that conversation before. But when you look and then people say, oh, boxers get paid way more money. I was like, there's only a few people in boxing who make life-changing money, like Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, and all that stuff, right?
And Ryan Garcia and that, they make secondary life-changing money.
Exactly, right? And so for me, I tell people, like, the only way that it's ever going to change is that if all the fighters were to band together, which will never happen, it just, as athletes, we're designed to hate each other. Yeah. Like, it just is what it is. That's the only time the money's ever going to change. And I tell them, we don't know any different. Yeah. Name another promotion out there that's, once again, that's going to pay all the fighters equally. Yeah. There's not one out there.
There's not.
I've heard gripes from Ryzen, One Championship, UFC, Strikeforce, Dream, Bellator, PFL, GFL, right?
All of that.
It's something that it's across the board. Yeah. So, and you see guys who leave promotions Makhachev. I want to fight in UFC. I want to be a world champion where he's making probably good money.
He probably makes more in karate combat.
Yeah. What was the gentleman who beat Alex Pereira, but he fought in a Dana White's contender series?
Artem Vatakov.
Yeah, and he was like, that's a shit check.
Yeah.
Bibiano Fernandez, he was fighting, this is a long time ago, he was fighting and he was making great money. And the UFC offered him like a shit contract. He goes, I don't give a fuck about being a UFC champion. I just want to make fucking money. And if you guys want to pay me good, but there's companies out there, there's the UFC pays well, and there's people out there who want to be a UFC champion. So, but if that's all you know, I don't feel like I'm being treated like shit, essentially.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's where me and him were kind of like going back and forth. I was like, dude, this is...
And you think across the board they should be paid more. Yeah.
And what's the stat you told me, right, DJ? Yeah. 2022 was... They made over $1 billion or something.
I think it was like
whatever
that, yeah.
it was. It was over $1 billion. 13% was what the fighters got. Yeah. When you're talking NBA, NFL, MLB, it's floating around the 50%.
I'll say this. The NBA players are out there every other day. They are. In their season, they're out there every other day. Some of these fighters, they're in there once a year. They're in there twice a year. And then when you hear them complain about fighter pay, it's like, I ain't seen you in 8 months. You can't, you know what I mean?
You ain't showed up to work for fucking 8 months.
Yeah.
This is what you get.
I haven't seen you once in 8 months. And all of a sudden the pay's not good enough. Pay must be nice. Pay must be good enough for you to fight twice a year. But then there's injuries. I understand there's a lot of injuries. So the way I would fix fighter pay is this. You said fighters get paid like shit.
No. I'll say this. I don't think they get paid like shit.
You understand the narrative that the fighters are paid like shit, though. Like, there is a narrative out there. You see it.
Yes, I see it.
The fighters are paid like shit. And then you add a counter argument.
But I will say this. The only way you're ever going to fix it, I want to hear how you think they should fix it.
I got the
The only way you're going to be able to fix it is if every single fighter on the whole entire roster decides not to fight. They've done it in Hollywood, right? And how you do it in Hollywood is that you have a guy like Robert Downey Jr. who's making fuck ton of money being Iron Man. Yep. And you have a guy who's playing fucking stepsister or whatever on, ABC. They support each other because they're in part of a union. Yep. Right? And then they won't. And when I was doing my acting and take my acting classes, he was like, dude, we can't practice stunts. We can't do this. We can't do none of that shit. And even though the guy down the street is trying to get a gig, he hasn't landed a gig. I support him because we're together in this.
Together, yeah.
We're in mixed martial arts. Do you think the fighter, the champion, is worried about the fucking guy who just got a Dana White's contender series? I can tell you right now, he gives 2 fucks, and that's why fighter pay will never change until that happens.
When I run the UFC in 10 years, I will fix fighter pay. I will fix fighter pay.
How would you?
And I would fix it so that these bald old fucks that need their money and don't want to go above that 13%. First of all, I think you can't compare it to the NBA because NBA players are way more known and they're way more, they perform a lot more. It's more watched. Yep. NFL's more watched. Like, the thing is about UFC fighter pay is people might know Pereira. People might know Makhachev. They don't fucking know fucking Ilia Letang, unranked bantamweight, who's been in the UFC for ages and is probably making like a doctor's wage. Yeah. But they don't have any idea who that guy is. They can look through the roster and they don't know who they may know Bruno Ferreira, unranked middleweight. So what I would do if I was to fix fighter pay is I would change the fucking shorts. I don't give a fuck what they're wearing. Like I give a fuck that they would be wearing something in the cage. I would, yes. I mean, in your own words, don't be bringing that gay shit around here. Just saying. Notice your brother's not in town. It's all good though. But the Reebok stuff, I don't care if it's Reebok. I don't care if it's Venom. Yeah. What I would do is I would change the 50K performance bonus system where sometimes Gaethje's a millionaire. Stop giving him 50K. Yeah. Stop giving him 50K. Yeah. He's a multi-millionaire. Yeah. Alex Pereira's got millions. Yeah. He's set. He's probably made about 10 million in his career. Yeah. I would imagine. A couple mil a fight at this point. Stop giving him 50K when he gets a knockout. There's a guy on the fucking prelims who's earning 12 for 12. Yeah. Give him the money or change the 50K bonus system where you do 50K this, 50K that. They do 2 50Ks and then 100K fight of the night. Yeah. I'd change it so it was like a 20K finishing bonus. So that would just reward, if you're consistently entertaining and you're getting finishes, that immediately changes it up and down the card from 1 or 2 of them getting 50K to all of them pretty much, if they get a finish, getting about 20K each extra on their pay. And then you don't have to add money. Because I know if I went into the UFC and started saying, we need to give them we need more budget to the fighters, they'd go, get this fucking guy out of here.
Yeah.
Get this guy out of here and let's have Nina run the fucking thing. You know what I mean? That's immediately what they would say. Get this guy out of here. He's talking crazy. He's talking giving them money. We can't have that. So I'd redistribute it.
Yeah.
I'd change that. And I don't care what is on the shorts.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I'd get a company that is A-OK with a patch on the shorts that would have a sponsorship pre-negotiated with me, the owner of the UFC. So if I would, So the fighter would come in and say, please, Guru, you know, could we have this on the shorts? I'd say, yes, of course, you know, and I'd bless them and I'd throw some holy water at them and then they could go. Don't look me in the eyes when you come into my negotiation room though, you know? But I'd give him like a patch on the shorts, a designated patch, one sponsor. Do you know why it says he doesn't like the NASCAR style of sponsors? Yeah. He doesn't want, look at the fucking canvas. Yeah. Look at the canvas.
Yeah.
Like, you don't like the NASCAR thing. I can't fucking see shit on the canvas because one guy's getting wobbled over the top of a fucking Modelo ad on the bottom of the canvas. So why are we all of a sudden, the shorts can't have this? Yeah. But I need to see someone get fucking flatlined in front of a Dude Wipes commercial on the side. You know? Yeah. You know, this knockout, oh, there he is, Alex Pereira snoozing on a Blue Chew ad. Yeah. But it's so dumb to me.
I think you're taking that, I don't like the NASCAR effect on the athletes.
Yep.
When an athlete has NASCAR effect, what does that mean? They're making a fuck ton of money on the sponsors. If I could take that away from them and put it in my pocket, not my pocket, but the company's pocket and throw it on there.
The Richies.
That's why they did that.
Yep.
That's the only reason I do it, because I never forget when I had Xbox, they literally called me and goes, hey man, we got a sponsor for you. Yep. Granted, Xbox wasn't paying me all the time, but we got a sponsor for you. You're going to make so much more money. I did it. Well, once Reebok came in, it was nice for a flyweight to make 40K each time they fought. But they took that away from the fighters and put the NASCAR on their thing.
I will say this to counteract, some fighters don't deserve shit. That is a crazy take. You see, but it's true. You see, some of them don't deserve shit. Like, I don't know you.
So wait. So
names. You want names?
Yeah. So right here, you say you're gonna fix fighters' pay.
Yeah.
And then here you are saying they don't fucking deserve anything.
Yeah, but I'm being real about it though. Like, some of them do deserve money.
Okay, so give me an athlete who's fighting who don't deserve any money.
Torres Finney, you deserve a pay deduction. Torres Finney deserves a pay deduction. He really does.
Why is that?
Because he doesn't entertain. There's no entertainment value. Yusuf Zalal, you ain't getting your win bonus. You can have the win on your record. You can progress in your career. No fucking win bonus for you. I'm giving it to fucking Trevor Peak.
So you know what? This is
Mario Batista.
What are you talking about? He just beat Jose Aldo.
Did he? Did he beat him?
Okay,
but he did. He got a win. But let me say this though about the lower level fighters. No one fucking knows you. Yeah. The UFC don't owe you shit. You should be lucky you're getting 12 for 12. Because if you're making more money on the regional scene, feel fucking free to stay if you're selling tickets enough. Paddy Pimblett was on the regional scene and he stayed there instead of signing to the UFC because he was getting more money on the regional scene. Yeah. Because he was a name that people cared about in Liverpool. He could sell out a show. Yeah. He could sell out the Echo Arena in Liverpool on Cage Warriors, which is why he didn't go to the UFC straight away. Also says, I wasn't ready yet. Lad, I wasn't fucking ready, lad. And all of this.
There it is.
We can get into impressions.
Yeah.
But, you know, he wasn't known.
Yeah.
But he also was. He had a fan base and he sold tickets. But some of the lower guys on the card, you're lucky you're getting 12 for 12 a fight. No one knows you. Yeah. You refuse to promote fights. You don't even... I see a lot of these fighters talking... You don't even reply to comments on your Instagram. I reply to comments. I talk to these fucking degenerates every day in a live chat, and I'm not a pro fighter whose career depends on me talking to them in a live chat. It does. Yeah. But... some of these fighters deserve 12 for 12, but the job of the UFC is to point out which ones don't and which ones actually do, and don't offer fucking Paul Hughes shitty money when he comes into the UFC. He's a generational talent.
Okay,
that's what boxing does. That's why boxers earn so much more money, because they're generational talents.
Gotcha.
They have hundreds of amateur fights. When Eddie Hearn picks up Devin Haney, he's had hundreds of amateur fights.
Yeah, he's well seasoned.
Yeah, he has a historic record with Ryan Garcia on the amateur scene. They know he's really good. They know he's destined for greatness. So they pay him money ahead of time. Devin Haney's not entertained a fan. I don't think he's entertained a single fan. Yeah. But he's got 2 point something million followers and he gets paid millions. That's because they're investing that he'll be in the spotlight. He'll be in a championship matchup. He'll have a B-side that will sell it. He'll have a Rolly Romero some point that will talk shit, and then it will sell the fight for him. With the UFC, no one knows you. And also, when I said, you know, fighters get paid like shit because they are shit, a lot of them are.
No.
A lot of them are. The boxers that are shit, you don't hear about because they just show up, they get their pay, they go away. You never hear about them again.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen, you know, usually when it's like a boxing card, you don't hear from the undercard.
Yeah.
You don't get a press conference at undercard at all.
But I'll tell you this, a lot of people try and say the UFC is like getting into the NFL. It's nowhere near the talent level. Nowhere near the overall talent level, I would say, because
I see what you mean.
The talent pool isn't there to begin with.
Exactly.
So it's not as much of a niche. You don't understand how many Americans, I watch a little bit of NBA,
and
how many of them want to be in the basketball.
0.01%.
Yeah. And then about a shed of them get fucking trimmed off to even get into their school team.
Yep.
Then another trim to get into like some tournament style thing. They go to a certain league above.
Yep.
Then they get another shed off, and it just continues to water down. And like you might be lucky if there's a guy from your school or your school system or your borough that makes it to the NBA, that makes it into like a tournament.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of some level of significance. So the percentage of people that want to be a basketball player that end up in the NBA is far, far smaller than the percentage of people that want to be in the UFC and actually get into the UFC. There are so many fighters that get into the UFC and I'm like, this guy ain't fucking wrestled.
Yeah.
Imagine that in the NBA. This guy can't shoot. This guy can't do a layup. I know that you shit on the NBA players a lot, but still with the UFC, there's so many guys like this guy just made it off of being a brawler.
Yeah.
Well, and he's in the UFC. Well, he's picked it up at 30 and made it. That shit don't happen in any of these other sports. Well, so that's why... Stop calling it the NFL, the NBA equivalent.
Yes. There's a lot going on. I like what he says. And to answer that, if fighters were to make more money, they just wouldn't fight as much.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Like if every time I fight, I told Mike, I was like, dude, if all the fighters made great fucking money, do you think like, I got $6 million in the bank. Do you think I need to fight?
If he's taking a year off after making $30K, he's going to take a fucking decade off if he makes $300K.
Exactly. Right. And damn, you said something and that kind of, dropped my mind off it.
They're not the same as getting into the NFL or the NBA. Not the same talent pool.
You said that's why I say mixed martial arts is the easy sport to become a world champion in.
Yes, you did say that.
Because you cannot fucking suck at basketball and become a world champion. You cannot. Can't. You can truly have holes and deficiency in your game in a sport in a form of martial arts and become a world champion. It's been done. Mm-hmm. Not just in the UFC, but you know, Ryzen, Dream, Bellator, everywhere. Right?
Marvin Vettori got a title shot in MMA.
Exactly. Where no
offense,
but I mean, he's
a tough guy.
He's a tough guy, yes.
But he doesn't do any. There's no evolution to his game. There's no craziness.
Yeah.
And he gets to a title shot. And
Sean Strickland's a good example.
Exactly.
He said he's very tough. He has a style. He walks across the void, but he's not like boom, 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 boom. Like and it's nothing like explosive, right? Mm-hmm. But once again, like you said, the cream of the it's not trimmed. Yep. Where it's like, okay, I want the top 100 athletic motherfuckers here. Yeah. You're not fighting unless you're running a sub 5 mile sub 5 mile time. Okay, after you do that, I want to see your guys' 40-yard dash time. Yeah. Oh, everybody's under 4.5. Okay, perfect. If they did that, you would have fucking monsters. You would have the most athletic fighters. Mm-hmm. But obviously, that's just being athletic. Yeah. Now, can they actually fight? Can they actually do jiu-jitsu? Can they actually? If you did that, I'm getting at the point where like you're saying a football player, you actually have to do that. What's your bench? What's your 40 time? That's why they have the combine.
There's so much because they're investing in you.
Yes. So I agree with you. You cannot, from now on, I would not compare the UFC or any mixed martial art organization to the NFL because there isn't that weed out process where it's like, if you're not going to see a guy in the NFL who runs a fucking a 40-yard dash, 6-second 40-yard dash. So like, you're not fucking fast enough. Yeah. I don't give a fuck if you're tough enough. You're not athletic enough.
1%.
Yep.
1% of the thing, 1% of the thing. And then eventually you get in and you make millions. But yeah, that's the thing about the UFC. There's sometimes when I'll be watching a title fight and I'll be thinking, what the fuck is he actually doing out there? What is he doing? You know, what are we doing here? And I'm not a mixed martial artist, but I know the good ones and I can see the bad ones.
Yeah.
But that won't happen in the NBA. You may say, what the fuck is he doing out there? But he's still competing against the best in the world.
Yeah.
Sometimes people will get to the top in the UFC and I'm like, how is he
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How has he made it this far? Oh, he's just athletic.
Yeah. Well,
Some of the time, when Aspinall shows up in the heavyweight division, second he made his debut, I'm like, he's going to be a world champion.
Yeah.
Why? He wasn't morbidly obese.
yeah. But he's actually fucking good.
He's very good, I know, but
Yeah.
that's honestly the reason. Damn, he actually threw a 1-2.
Yeah.
He
He's
didn't throw an overhand.
Yes.
You know?
But you also think about it. We talked to Tom, and I didn't know his background and his upbringing.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu, all
Right,
of that.
jiu-jitsu, judo, boxing, all that stuff. And when he went to cage, I'm sorry, we didn't think you'd be this tall.
Cramped. It's all good.
When he did his whole entire amateur career, and he was like, "Man, I don't want to go to this point," but nobody would fight him. They couldn't get any matchups, so he was forced to go to the
Going to
big league
boxing.
to box. Then
And
he went to
did
boxing,
and he paid someone to even show up against him.
He didn't tell me that, but I believe it.
No,
Right?
I think he did. Well, I don't think he said this, but did he? I don't know. It's not like he's rigging a fight, but sometimes you have to like incentivize people to even get in there with you.
Exactly to
You know?
get in there with him.
Yeah, I'll take a pay cut. Just get me competition.
Exactly.
That's what I mean.
Exactly.
Yeah. Not that you paid a guy to take a fucking.
No,
dive.
yeah. Nobody's gonna, nobody's gonna get paid to get fucking knocked out.
Yep, I know.
Well,
I don't know, dude. Give me some numbers. I'll take on Ngannou, dude.
but he went through a process to get himself ready for that, where there's none of that nowadays, right? People just want to get there as soon as possible, and once they get there, I got here with the least amount of tools that I could build this house. And guess what? I'll build this house, and you're still gonna fucking bite, even though I don't have my degree in architectural drawing.
Yeah.
And I just think that's just the way it is. Like,
These guys have, in the other promotion, they have athletic scholarships. How much longer are we going? We have so much more to discuss, DJ.
as long as you want.
We can go for a while here. But these guys don't have these guys have athletic scholarships, in these other promotions.
Yeah.
In these other sports. I hate when someone says, the UFC's like the NFL, they should get paid the same, Michael. I hate when you say things like this, or even suggest it, because it's so much harder to get into these other fucking promotions.
It is.
It's actually, I would say it's 100 times harder.
But here's the thing. It's with all the other promotions out there,
Yeah.
it's hard, it's the hardest one to get into is UFC. So that's why I think people equivalent to the NFL. You know what I mean? That's why I think and if a company's making $1 billion,
Yeah.
I would like to see that the athletes make 10% or 25%. That's where I think a lot of the argument comes from. But for me, it's like, once again, it's never going to fucking change until all the fighters walk down, to the Apex Center and burn it down.
Here's how you change it. You create like power to the fighters before they've even been signed. That's how you change the UFC.
What do you mean by power to the fighters before they even get signed?
So you create power to the fighters by not even being signed. So they're not desperate for pay. Some of these fighters, they get to the UFC. Oh, thank God I made 20K in my debut.
Yeah.
You need
We're
fighters
poor.
to not be in that position.
But we're all poor.
I know, but with my new MMA regional, with my new regional fund, because I'm funding regional fighters in the UK, they're not going to be as poor, maybe moving forward.
Yeah. Well, I think, but see, here's the thing. I think, because we always talked about it. These are the words directly from Dana. We try to incentivize guys to go out there and fight.
Yep.
Right. So if you had somebody who was, man, I fucking need this $50,000. I need this motherfucking money. And you have another guy who goes, I need that fucking more money than you. And I throw a piece of cheese or sausage or filet mignon in the middle of these two gentlemen. Yeah. And I say the first person who eats this gets the $50,000. Yeah. You're going to see a fucking bloodbath. You're going to see two guys fucking tear each other's heads off.
That's like the P. Diddy system.
Exactly.
You need this money, eat this. And it's not a fucking piece of cheese.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. It is us. You know what I mean? Eat this.
But let's say you have two guys. Let's flip it. Two guys. Hey man, I got like $3 million in the bank. You got what? You got $6 million in the bank. Okay, let's go out there and maybe we can split this filet mignon and we'll talk about it, right? Yep. You're not gonna have the same amount of. You're not gonna get the same type of fight. That's why I think you rather have someone who's poor fighting for the filet mignon than someone who's well off and wealthy and has power, who has leverage, who can say, you know what? I remember you said this on Twitter. These athletes need to start being punished for the way they're acting and not taking these fights. Those are your words, Guru.
They do.
So, but that's just the athlete having power, saying, I don't take that. Like Armin.
Because they have financial power to do it. Armin's a fucking millionaire and he's descended from a millionaire.
Exactly. So he can be like, I deserve better than this, right?
Yeah.
So we're doing this the whole entire time. Like, you're like, fuck these guys. These guys need to be doing this and this. And I'm like, well, they don't want to have to because they're wealthy. But if they if they weren't poor, then they would fight like that. Go on.
Yeah.
I'm ranting on too, but I'm trying to like.
We've done fighter pay for ages, but I would change. If I get in charge of the UFC, I'll pay these guys a bit more.
Okay.
I'd make it so that there was not half and half for a win bonus and a show money.
Yep.
I'd do 75%. You get a 25% increase if you win. I would do split the 50-50-50-50. So 200K per card is in performance bonuses, including fight of the night.
Yep.
I'd make it 20K for a finish. Or if you entertained and made some noise with your performance, 20K extra. That's doubling some of these guys' pay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd have a patch on the fucking shorts. I'd go to a different fucking sponsorship.
Yep.
That would be more okay, because who the fuck is Venom a big deal?
I mean, I got some Venom shoes over there.
They're somewhat known though.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I bet you anything, if you were to offer like fucking Slazenger or fucking Mackenzie or one of these other, you could offer fucking Ralph Lauren. Do you want to be the fucking sponsor of the shorts? Like, it really doesn't. They will offer a lot of money. That's a big spotlight for them. But here's the condition.
Yeah.
One authorized sponsorship patch on their shorts, because that's going to also, in one way, I get the only patch. That's going to create some kind of like bargaining auction moment.
Yep.
For sponsors to be like, I'll offer you this much to be on your shorts for that title fight. I'll offer you this much to be on your shorts on the Apex card. I don't think any of them would say that about the fucking Apex. But I want one spot on the shorts. I don't want short or stuff all over the shorts, but I want one spot on the shorts for sponsorship. 20K bonuses, 75-25 on the show to win. And I'd give them a bit more money. If they're good and if they have talent, they should be rewarded as such, in my opinion. But instead, what the UFC does, we're still on fighter pay. This is why I was asking how long we're doing this for, because we have a lot to discuss. With Chandler, you know why they do this. Chandler, Aaron Pico, not Tatsuro Terry, the other Asian flyweight. I just did a racism. Kai Asakura.
Yeah.
Straight into a title fight. You want to know why they do that, DJ?
Well, because they need it.
But it's shit pay, but we give you a title shot.
Oh, of course.
It's shit pay, and it's less than your fucking Bellator contract, Chandler.
Yeah.
But we'll give you Dan Hooker on the co-main of a McGregor card. That's how they get these guys in. Aaron Pico, why do you think they were even floating the idea of him fighting Evloev? That don't make no sense.
Yeah.
There's so many featherweights that deserve that shot against Evloev. Evloev deserves a title shot. But I bet you anything, they didn't pay him much. Aaron Pico's like, what the fuck is this pay that you're giving me?
Yeah.
But we'll give you Evloev. It's a big spotlight for you. So if you win, it'll be like promotional value.
Yeah.
You'll be a known person.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they have, you can incentivize somebody with a low hanging fruit because that's what they want.
Yep.
But if somebody came in and goes, nah, I'm gonna work my way up the title. I want to make sure I'm seasoned when I get there. But so no, come out. We'll give you this. It's more than what you're paid, but it's still lesser than the guy who's number, I don't know, 11th ranked and on a card who's going to get paid way more, right? Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. It's a very hard thing to solve, where how do you, fighters will always do that just to make more money. I think that's when you're getting home right now. So, but in 10 years, when you're running the company, I want to see all the fighters happy with their fighter pay.
Yeah. They'll be a little bit more happy. There'll be some extra. I don't want them too happy. But there'll be a little bit more. It wouldn't be 12-12. And you know what I would do? You went to war for the company that weekend. You ain't getting 12 for 12, buddy. We'll cover it. You know what I mean? I know Dana does that sometimes, but there would be incentives, not just based on if you get some highlight reel KO for 50K. You broke your nose in this fight going for it.
Yep.
Fucking, I'll cover that. Yeah. I mean, there would be some kind of thing like that, but I don't know. I don't want to stay on fighter pay forever because.
Yeah. That's okay. You're passionate about it, and I love it. That's like, you're passionate about it. I love it. When we talk, you know, because I follow all your content.
Yes.
Majority of it. And I listen to the things you say, and then I always, you know, how do I feel when Guru says this about the athlete if I was the athlete? Yeah. Right? Like this guy, you know, Ian Garry, I think you said good words about Ian Garry, but I think you said something about how Dana White, how'd you feel about Ian Garry's last fight against Carlos Pratis? How'd you feel about that?
You know what? I have a 6 a.m. in the UK take.
Yep.
And that's what everyone goes on. Listen, when you have to understand, if I'm on Twitter, I'm furious.
I know.
That's what you need to understand. My chat can hear it. My Twitter fingers going. Yeah. I'm off. You know what I mean? It's 6 a.m. I can hear the fucking birds chirping. I hate my life. Yeah. And now I'm watching the UFC and I haven't been entertained, and Pratis won't throw ground and pound in round 5. I'm furious.
Yeah.
So my initial take was, this fucking bitch, you're a bitch, dude, because I want him to lose. And I don't hide that.
Who, Pratis or Garry?
I want Ian Garry to lose.
Okay, that's what I'm sure. I'm asking. If I knew who to lose, I would have said that. Okay.
You said you watch my content. You should know Ian Garry is.
You have a lot of content, my friend.
I know.
There's a lot. The last one was like, we're gonna get another fucking trailer for Nina Drama. Do you think the UFC really fucking needs us?
I know.
So.
Yes.
So you got a lot of content. So, and I got 3 fucking kids, a wife, and I'm playing video games, Marvel Rivals.
I know. Marvel Rivals.
Give me some fucking
How old are you
here,
again?
okay?
I'm joking now. Yeah, go on. But I wanted Ian Garry to lose, and I'm very open about that. I want him dead. Not in the way that could get me in trouble legally to say.
Yeah.
But when Prates is throwing hammer fists, I'm throwing them with him at home. You're Put some fucking stank on that. Leave him vegetabilized.
Yeah.
But Ian Garry had a good performance, man.
Yeah.
He looked good. He was a technical fighter.
Yep.
Very good on the outside. Prates had nothing for him. He was on another level. Distance control, all of that. Prates just sort of got kind of exposed as a sort of aggression merchant. He was a in-the-pocket merchant, if you will. He didn't have to close the void or cross the void in an effective manner. Demetrious Johnson, I watch your content. You don't shut up about the fucking void, I feel like, in your content, but it's all good. It's a great term.
It's something that scared the fuck out of me when I fought. So
yes, exactly. But I thought it was a good performance from Ian Garry.
Yeah.
But talking about Ian Garry, there are fighters I just don't like and I want to see lose.
Gotcha.
And that's the storyline of the channel. So I don't mind when people leave comments on my videos like, I can't believe he's so biased. Like, why can't he see the truth in this performance? Yeah. And I get that, but it's the audacity to be shocked by my bias. I don't want him to win. Yeah. I'm cheering for fighters in fights. I'd probably have cried if like certain fights gone another way. Like if something would have happened that I didn't want to happen. Yep. I'd be in fucking rage. I'd absolutely have a rage for it. So I don't mind people getting onto me for the way I react about fights, but it's the audacity to be shocked by my terrible behavior. You should know I'm a terrible person. Yeah. And I'm biased.
Well, it's a character, and you're biased. Like for me, I love Izzy. I want him to win all of his fights. So when he lost to Nasruddini,
DDP as well, that must have stung a little bit.
I was more shocked that happened. Right? It didn't sting.
I knew it.
Yeah, it didn't sting. It didn't sting. But when shit went from 0 to 100, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? He slipped and he got on his back and he choked him out. Yeah. So I was able to swallow. He slipped.
Yes, he slipped. He got fucking smoked, dude. It was the real African. Put him away, DJ. That's what happened out there, dude. King of Africa, Dricus du Plessis, setting him back hundreds of years.
He got the Modelo sign like you talked about, and then he was what the fuck, and he got caught. He got choked out. So I was able to swallow that one, right? I was shocked. But when he got knocked out by Nasruddini, that was the first time.
Is he an Italian version of Nasruddin?
What, Nasruddini?
Nasruddin Imavov is his name. Nasruddini is like some Italian.
No, that's what you say, Nasruddini.
It's Oh, maybe it is how you pronounce it.
That's how you pronounce it.
It's Nasruddini.
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. Nasruddini.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Get out of here, Michael. Nasruddini. Yes. So Nasruddin, when he finished Izzy, I was heartbroken. I was pissed. I was mad. I wasn't happy for him. And then I had to, come back in and be like, what?
This gets back to racism.
Why?
We could go back to, because
I always vote for the black guy?
No, not that you always root for the black guy, but I remember you saying, get your black ass up.
Yeah, he is black. He's getting his black ass up.
Do you get what I mean? As in, like, the fighters are your titans. You know what I'm saying? From your you understand Adesanya more than you would understand Nasruddin Imavov. Just because Adesanya's like you, dude.
He's black.
He is, exactly. Yeah. So when fighters see me going, oh, yes, Yuri, dude, don't get, you know what I mean? So people get onto me about that, but I'm like, dude, these are our titans.
They get on me about it too, and I'm like, yeah, so what?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same thing. Like
I saw people get onto you about that. Is what I'm saying. Like you're always rooting for the so and so, and I'm like, dude, everybody, he is the so and so. Let him root for the so and so.
That's why I went against somebody. I was like, since he's, I said, you know what? Even though I think he's going to lose, he's black, I'm going to go for him. So I'm going to go with, I think it was Kevin Holland versus RDR. That's what it was. I was like, he's black, I'm going to go for him. Even though I knew RDR was a better grappler. But
you're good on YouTube. I think you've done really well on YouTube.
You think so?
Yes. You know what I think? I think the fact that you've been shunned so much in your career benefited you in the long term based on how people rallied behind you. You're like the unsung. I think you're the best on YouTube out of any of the fighters, numbers-wise, especially and content-wise. Yeah. Bisping ain't pulling numbers like you. Yeah. Bisping can't do the content you do. Yeah. And I don't want to start beef with you amongst these fighters, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I think it comes from my gaming background.
Yes, because I spent, the culture.
I spent 10 years streaming on Twitch. Yep. And then I switched to YouTube, And once I retired from fighting, I said, if I put the same amount of energy I did in my career into something else,
Yep.
I should be successful. And obviously I have a great team, Michael, Nick, Joel, Med, Sammy. They kind of helped me because there's a lot of stuff. Like when it came to the death sentencing, I didn't want to do it because I'm a very creature of habit. That takes a lot of effort. I'm away from the wife and the kids. And, you know, Michael said, hey, if we get this over 250,000 views, you got to train. I'm like, fine. And I like to live by, I'm a man of my word. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to fucking do it. So
That's great. That's great. And I think you do really well. And I think even having me on the podcast is big because I get shunned by so many of these guys in the MMA community. That's big for you to do. Actually acknowledging me.
The reason,
you know how many guys completely ignore my existence on the internet?
Yeah, because this is the reason. So for me, you have good, we do good business.
Rapport. We have good rapport.
We have good
as well.
rapport.
Yep.
You haven't done me wrong, right? It's like Tony Montana and Homeboy.
Yeah.
I want to tell you once.
Am I the homeboy?
I forget the other
Do I
guy's
get the
name.
pass
but
now?
The drug dealer's guy. You
Oh,
remember the
okay.
part in South Park when Cartman made a deal with the Colonel and the Colonel said, I only tell you once, Cartman. Don't you ever try to fuck me.
Okay, so I'm the Cartman here with the beanie on.
And
that
I'm
would
the
actually
Colonel.
make a lot of sense.
And I'm the
Yes,
Colonel.
you're the
yeah,
Colonel.
I'm the
Okay.
Colonel. So as long as we're good and you haven't crossed me, you haven't crossed somebody that like, and like I said before, some of the takes you have, I view it as comedy. It's a joke.
Yes, it is a joke.
Right?
I go too far sometimes, but hey, dude, so does Chappelle.
Yeah, exactly. And I
does
love
Andrew
Chappelle.
Schultz,
right? And so,
as you mentioned.
and so for me, I have good rapport with you, so I don't see why not. We have a good time. Why not? And the fans love it. They're yearning for it, as you would say. Why not give it to them?
Yeah, I do think there's the UFC employees are out to get me though.
You think so?
Well, Nina said.
Nina's not a fucking employee.
Yes, she is. That's an industry
Because
plant
she
right
gets a
there.
check. Because she gets a check from them. Is it?
Well, no, I think she's at the beck and call of the UFC.
You think so?
She her career in interviewing fighters started as a UFC employee.
It did.
Yes,
Like,
there was
you
no,
know
like-
more than me. You know more than me. I thought she was. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, she did skits online.
She just gets
I
online.
understand.
And
She was a
I
known
thought-
person before.
I thought she got her opportunity because she was a reporter, and then they gave her opportunity to interview these guys to show a different side of her. And I actually enjoy some of her content.
Yeah.
I
I don't want to hate on Nina. She's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
hot.
yeah.
Do her thing.
Yeah.
She's hot. But she can do her
Truthfully,
thing.
he wants to sleep with her. He goes, God, she's fucking
Yeah.
hot. I love to
She's
sleep with her.
God damn it, she's hot. She actually made a video nearly crying in a hotel room about me, and I did feel bad about it.
I watched it. I watched
Yes,
it.
I watched that one as well. Watched it a few times, dude. Well, I don't know. But my mum actually told me to stop beefing with Nina.
Good.
So there you go.
Good.
Because my mum was like, "Ooh, I don't know if you should be beefing the women as
Yeah.
much as go after Ian Garry all you want." I don't know. She didn't give me the green light on that, but
Yeah.
I kind of just sort of stopped going after Nina as much. But there's always going to be that beef. But in the tweet that she put out, she said, "Everybody in the UFC knows who you are, by the way, and they know what you're up to on your channel." So I think that I am kind of known, and then Bisping blocks me, and I think they tried to shun me early on.
Yeah, this has been fucking amazing. I think you opening up and telling people like your upbringing, and me too, because like I said, nobody truly understands how you've been able to do what you do.
Yeah.
With no spare, you don't.
Nope.
You're not gonna stop.
Nope.
Nor should you.
I'll keep going.
Right? He said, "I'll keep going." Fuck, man.
I do it for nothing. I may dip soon. I don't know. I could see in my early 30s just being like,
I can see you do that.
I'm out.
I can see that.
I could see just dipping. I'm
Yeah.
out. See ya.
Because I feel that you remind me of like Adele, right? Well, yeah, I'm not saying white,
Fat.
not that. I'm
Yeah,
not saying it. I'm
you
just
got
saying
me.
like she'll come, she'll sing, she'll do a tour,
Yeah.
she'll bang out an album, disappear,
I'm out.
out. Then she'll come back to another album, out,
Yeah.
and out. And I think I applaud you for having that mindset because there's gonna be a point in time, Kai Cenat, those guys. They can't. I did a celebrity football game with one of the guys because they're part of a street Agent.
Yep.
He can't fucking go anywhere, and everybody's all over him. And I told him, I was like, dog, you want to be wealthy in silence.
Yes.
You want to be able to go down to the grocery store and buy a gallon of milk and be able to come home.
That's why I don't do TikTok. Even though everyone screams at me, do TikTok. You'd be viral on TikTok if you posted on TikTok. And I don't want to be known.
Yeah.
I don't want to be kind of known.
You want your audience to come to you.
I want my audience to really, everyone who knows me really fucks with my shit.
Yep. Yeah.
That's it. I don't
what
want
you
to be
want.
just kind, because these guys cussing out, you could never have watched a stream before you know him. You know?
No.
Just because he's a name that floats. I never want to be that.
Yeah.
I don't want that level.
I had it on last night.
I'm not
That's
saying I could easily get to that level, but
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to be kind of recognizable. Like, oh, he's the so-and-so. You're that Sanat guy.
Yeah.
Never. If you know me, you'll definitely notice me.
Exactly.
You know? And you'll probably enjoy the content if you really know me. So enough to recognize me.
That's what's up. Well, Guru, this has been absolutely fucking amazing. But how can the fans support you? This is your opportunity to let them know. You want to tell them anything, and how can they support you?
Just watch your YouTube. MMA Guru. If you want, you don't have to. You can do it if you want. I know got nothing else. I tweet sometimes. I have an Instagram I don't post on. So just fucking watch MMA Guru on YouTube. Dude.
I know
It's
that.
fucking simple as that.
I try to have you invite collaborator, and I was like, he's not going to invite collab. And I'll sit there. I'll go to my phone. I'm like, still hasn't done it.
Yeah, I'm not.
Maybe he
posting
didn't
on
like the
Instagram.
interview. Oh, it is what it is.
Maybe he'll like the interview. I don't interact on Instagram. Sometimes people get at me and stuff.
So, boys,
That, fam.
if you guys enjoyed this episode of the MIGHTYCAST with me, MMA Guru, please leave a like, subscribe. Also, hit the bell to go live. And do yourself a favor. Go follow this man on YouTube. The content is absolutely prime. It's peak. I love it. I'm sure you guys are going to love it. I'm your host, Demetrious Johnson. Co-host Michael Wanzer is over there. And my guest, MMA Guru. We'll see you guys at the next episode of the MIGHTYCAST.
Bye.